All right, guys, welcome back to the stream. Welcome if you are new. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you for waiting patiently as always. Boss seems to have jumped onto my lap here at the very last moment. I guess you wanted to join us here, saying I'm 5 minutes late. Nah, we always do a 5-minute intro. Do I stream daily? So yeah, that's a question that people understandably been asking recently. And I realized I meant to talk about this yesterday, but I guess I was just so eager to kind of dive into yesterday's topics that I totally forgot. But to let everybody know, no, I'm not like converting to daily streams. I've just been streaming a little bit more lately. But I'm very likely going to be returning to the normal schedule. The way the schedule normally works is we do 3 days of streaming, 3 days of videos. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday are the streams, and Monday, Wednesday, Friday are the videos. And then Saturday is either an off day or some members content. I also meant to mention yesterday, like I've been naming some of the podcasts like Press X podcast or streams, been naming them Press X podcast, and I'm still unsure if I'm going to stick to this or not. I'm basically just experimenting with it. So don't be surprised if we just go back to regular, like conventional naming, or if it sticks, we'll just have to see. I'm just experimenting with a couple things right now, so I really I really don't know why I didn't mention it yesterday. I must have just been really eager to talk about the situation with Bungie, but I see Jake Skew 27 comes in and drops a membership gift on us. Jake, thank you so much, man. I appreciate all the support. Appreciate that membership gift, and big shout out to the community as always for showing your support. A couple ways you can help support my content. You can do what Jake is doing here. If you are a channel member, consider gifting memberships. It's a big thing we do here on the channel. It's a great way for you to support my channel directly. I'm only able to do this because of how generous this community is and how supportive this community is. So consider doing that. Consider becoming a channel member if you're not one, and consider donating a super chat, ask a question, make a statement, give an opinion, anything in between. Helps kind of, keep the conversation going in different directions, but also supports the channel. So really appreciate it. You're saying why PXP2 and not 1? Well, I guess it's just because the last one is named PXP1, so we'll see. We'll see. You're saying I was all over the gaff yesterday. What does that mean? I feel like I should know what that means. I don't know what that means. Unless you just mean I was like all over the place. MBG, what is your stream schedule? It seems all over the place. Well, like I said, my normal stream schedule, like the way it normally goes, is Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern. That's the way it's been going for a long time. It's just the past week and a half or so, maybe the past 2 weeks, I've been streaming a little bit more spontaneously. So, it does happen from time to time, but that's generally the schedule. Did I get Alan Wake 2 yet? I did buy. I actually didn't play it yet. I did buy it. It's just sitting there on my console. I'm waiting for I don't know if you guys have this problem sometimes, but when I finish a game and get ready to go into a new one, I always feel like when I start a new game, the timing has to be right. Like I have to be in a, I don't know, like it just has to feel like, okay, now's the right time to start a new game. Because I feel like when I start a new game, it requires much more focus from me. Because it's brand new, right? I have to learn an entirely new game, entirely new mechanics. That happens to me sometimes. Like I'll just kind of sit there and be like, I don't think the time is right now. Maybe a couple hours from now. A couple hours goes by. Okay, maybe not. Maybe tonight. And the evening comes. It's like I'm still not feeling it. Maybe tomorrow morning. But I am going to be starting it very, very soon. I'm actually really looking forward to it. You say when you finish a game, you go straight to the next one. I should try that next time. I think I might try that with Alan Wake 2 because Alan Wake 2 God, boss, the hair, man. It's getting in my mouth here. Alan Wake 2, I don't know if it's going to be a difficult platinum. I would like to platinum it. I just platinum Spider-Man. And maybe as soon as I finish it, I'll move right to Lies of P, because that's the next game I want to play, Lies of P. And we actually have some news regarding Lies of P that we're going to cover today. MBG, don't lie. It's because it's digital only. Yeah, I'm struggling, man. I'm struggling with it being digital only. It just felt wrong. It did. It just felt wrong buying that game. Playing Alan Wake 2 on your OLED in a dark room made you jump. Damn. No physical, no buy. I can respect that. Boss, dude, your hair is... Am I allergic to you, man? I don't think I'm allergic to him. His hair is just really loose. It always gets all over the place. You want to... Go ahead. Can you make that jump? Okay. He was tensing up like he was about to jump. Platinums are a sickness. They are. They are. For me, they are. Yes. Absolutely. Dude, I wish Sony never invented trophies for the PlayStation Network. MW3 is actually DLC. That's crazy. I told you guys. I told you I played the beta, and it is legitimately DLC. It's not a new game. MW3 is not. It is DLC, and they're selling it as a new game. It's crazy. We're going to talk about that. So actually, let me tell you what topics we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about a big announcement, apparently, that is going to be coming very likely at the Game Awards with some God of War DLC. This is something that's been rumored, but now we're getting more info on it. We're talking about a Silent Hill disaster. Yep, that's right. Another Silent Hill disaster. Silent Hill Ascension is out, and oh boy, did they shit the bed on this one. Yeah, we're going to talk... Silent Hill with a battle pass, you ask? Why, yes. Yes, we do have that on the docket today. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 and how it's been confirmed there is no platinum for the PS5 version. There is no platinum for the PS5 version. This is actually causing some players to feel very frustrated, and it pretty much does confirm it's seemingly DLC. And we're going to talk a little bit about Lies of P, and we'll see what else we end up talking about. This might be a shorter stream today because, again, like I did the stream yesterday on a Wednesday because I was just really eager to talk about the situation that was going on, that is still going on with Bungie and with Sony, and I obviously had a lot to say. It was a 4.5 hour stream, so this stream probably won't be anywhere near as long, but these are some topics I do want to cover today. Let me make sure I didn't forget something here. Okay. No, I think we are good. All right, so you just want the Elden Ring DLC? Yeah, there is a little bit of news for the Elden Ring DLC. It's apparently it's progressing smoothly, and it's going to be coming out before the end of the fiscal year. So I imagine it'll be at the Game Awards. Ray, you're saying MBG, my friend, got the battle pass for Silent Hill and it disappeared and was asking him to buy it again. That's I would say I'm surprised. I think that's the first thing I want to talk about. I want to talk about Silent Hill Ascension, and how it is a disaster of a game, if you can even call it a game. Let me see if I can. I think Kotaku wrote up an article. I don't normally go to Kotaku, but I think that they covered this. I haven't read this article. I just saw it circulating, so I think they covered it pretty well. But their article says here, there's finally a new Silent Hill, and fans already hate it. It says, Konami's Silent Hill franchise has been dormant for over 10 years. The last mainline game, 2012 Silent Hill Downpour, received mixed reviews, with most players put off by its messy combat and scares. It was up to Silent Hill Ascension, the first new installment in a decade, to help nudge the series back to the greatness of 1999's Silent Hill, and 2001's Silent Hill 2. But Ascension, the interactive series made primarily by massively interactive entertainment company Genvid and Bad Robot Games, has already failed to impress fans with its very first episode. So what is Silent Hill Ascension? Silent Hill Ascension blends Silent Hill canon with audience-led decision-making like a Twitch stream. It's more a grafted plant than a game, although its interactive horror might remind you of Until Dawn or Telltale's The Walking Dead. Like the latter, Ascension unfolds over multiple episodes. They're spaced out over the next few months, centered on two families slowly ruined by death and mysticism. The first premiered on October 31st on the Ascension mobile app and the Ascension.com website. Players have a 24-hour window to weigh in on story decisions, rewatch the series, typically 15-minute long episodes, and solve puzzles to earn influence points as in-game currency that makes fans' decisions more important. Genvid CEO Jacob Novak emphasizes to Kotaku that the most important aspects of Ascension are free, the live streams, on-demand experiences, interactive endurance sequences, the ability to influence story outcomes, all free, he says over email. But yes, unfortunately, this thing has a battle pass. You can earn influence points for free, like with the puzzles that were mentioned, but the $20 Founders Pack available through November 14th nets you over 100 tiers of rewards and influence points, plus additional exclusive cosmetics, a recent press release says, which lasts through the remainder of the Silent Hill Ascension season, or approximately 6 months worth of content. That doesn't, however, account for the other microtransactions Ascension has, including 20 large pack of influence points. How does Ascension really work? $20 is what I pay for movie tickets, so the Founders Pack price alone doesn't bother me much, but those who watched Ascension's first episode say the game's unpleasant user experience and abysmal live show aren't worth the price. I watched parts of the first episode on its Ascension.com archive and found that while the monsters look admirably repulsive, it's difficult to connect with Ascension's characters when their mouths don't move. I also noticed that when switching tabs for a few minutes, the Ascension website would automatically kick me out of the video player and reset my watch time. These minor frustrations seem pervasive, partially because Ascension isn't prepared for the traffic volume it received. At least that's what the developer's saying. Oh man, it gets pretty bad, guys. So it continues by saying, on October 31st, players reported trouble downloading the Ascension app, logging in, and chat rooms wrecked by barely there spam filters. There's just no filter on chat, says one popular comment on Reddit. People are able to spam Hideo Kojima Kami in my tummy and boost it so it gets pinned to the top of the chat. This is so fucking bad. That's what the Reddit post said. Another person on Twitter says you cannot type the word scam or Hideo Kojima into the Silent Hill Ascension chat, but you can drop a hard R, just in case you were wondering how things are going over there. It just gets worse, guys. Like, apparently there's this feature in the game. Yeah, dude, it's a nightmare. This is a fucking nightmare, bro. There is this feature in the game where essentially you can pay a ton of money to influence a decision. And at the end of an episode, apparently, at the end of each episode, it will actually have like a little leaderboard that shows basically who paid the most amount or who dropped the most amount of points. In other words, people who paid for these points. And you know, it's really bizarre, dude. Like, I don't know what the hell they're thinking with this. I just, God, please do not let the Silent Hill 2 remake be a disaster, because this is this is a nightmare, man. I don't understand why. Like, leave it to Konami to be like, here's our first Silent Hill experience in over a decade. Please buy our battle pass. Like, What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? Why are you selling me a battle pass for an interactive Silent Hill experience? It's just sad, man. Like, you can tell, honestly, with the state, the way that the Metal Gear Solid collection was handled, and now seeing how much of a disaster Silent Hill Ascension is, you can tell Konami still doesn't really get it, man. Like, they're still Konami. I just hope Bloober Team does it. I hope it turns out Konami made a good decision in the end, hiring Bloober Team for the remake, because Bloober Team seems to really care about this, and they're actually trying. Like, you can tell, like, they want to deliver a good remake, and I hope they're able to, man. Same thing with the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. These two things need to be good. They do. I mean, this Silent Hill Ascension thing, whatever, I can ignore it. You know, they just want to try to grab as much money from people as possible in the craziest way, but whatever. Pony Up, you're saying a lot of people here will be getting Xboxes this holiday. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Is that true? Maybe I should put a post up or a poll. I'll wait until we do like a more robust stream, and I'll put a poll up, maybe asking people. But I'm not so sure, man. Like, I'll be real with you, Pony Up. It's no offense to Microsoft, but Sony's going to annihilate them console sales-wise this holiday season. I'm not saying people aren't going to buy Xboxes at all. They definitely will. And obviously Microsoft, I don't think Microsoft has a lot of momentum going into next year, but most of that momentum does not surround their console. It surrounds their service. But in terms of consoles, man, I just don't think so, dude. I think Sony's going to clean up this holiday, and even going into early, the first couple months of 2024. I just think that that's kind of obvious. They have Spider-Man 2, and they have a lot of third-party games. They have the new bundles. I mean, dude, look, even though it is DLC, they have this MW3 bundle. They're giving away the game for free, man. Like, that's a strong proposition for a lot of people. But hey, Sony's got to leverage that one last time, right? One last ride with Call of Duty for PlayStation marketing. And we have Waved Max. Waved Max comes back, and he drops a membership gift. Good stuff, Waved Max. Thank you so much, bud.
Appreciate it.
I really do appreciate that. That actually brings us up to 2 members on the day. Appreciate the support, and you kind of paying it forward there, man. MBG, Sony already destroyed Xbox consoles. I mean, they did. They did, man. Pony Up says the Series S is on sale for $200 Black Friday. Again, I'm not saying they're not going to. I think they will sell a healthy amount of consoles. I think Microsoft will have a good holiday season. But just to make it clear, dude, I think it's going to pale in comparison to, to what Sony's about to do this holiday. Just being honest. If not, I mean, that would be kind of surprising. That would be kind of surprising. I feel like Xbox as a brand and Gamepass as a brand are both doing extremely well right now, but the Xbox console itself, I feel like, is not doing well at all. I think it's actually really struggling. I just saw that apparently Xbox raised the price of the Series S in Brazil it's now as expensive as the like PS5 digital console or something like that, and people are freaking out about that, which is, like I've tried to tell people people have to chill out and realize that Microsoft is a company as well. Like they do care. You're saying that was canceled? Was it? So they did listen. Well, good shit. If true, good shit. I had no idea. Let me check that real quick. Xbox Series S Brazil. The last report I see is 5 days ago. Keep Series S alive in Brazil on Reddit. Didn't they stop the price increase in response to backlash? 1 day ago, somebody replied, and this is from Reddit. I don't know if it's true. They say, unfortunately, no, they confirmed it's still going up. Somebody says, complain to your government for having such ridiculously high import taxes. Somebody else replies by saying this was a decision from Microsoft headquarters in US. Not even Microsoft LATAM was involved in that. Not related to Brazilian taxes too. Series X and PS5 prices were unaffected. There's another reply here from 21. I don't know, man. If this Reddit thread is true, it's seeming like it actually didn't change, or like they kept it. I don't know. Can somebody just refer me to where I can find that information saying that they canceled it? Like they canceled the price increase? They reversed course? Dude, some people, well, if that's true, obviously I'm not in the know, but some people who are very worked up about it are not in the know either. Did they just announce that? I mean, they should reverse course on it, because it's like, why would the price of this console, like, it's supposed to be an entry-level console, why would it be the same price as a PS5? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Antonio says, MBG, they didn't reverse course. Jez is looking into it. Well, this is strange to me, because there's somebody in the chat literally from Brazil. Well, regardless of what ends up happening, I think like that to me, that's a strange move by Microsoft. Simply for the fact that it's like, I don't know, maybe they just figured like it's one territory, you know, nobody's really going to care. It'll just get swept under the rug. But maybe they realize actually there's a bunch of backlash for it, and they're like, uh-oh. Microsoft cares very much right now about having good PR. Like they do not want to have bad PR. Fernando says, Brazilian here, the price is still going up. They're also taking back Xbox Series from journalists that are criticizing the price increase. What? No way, dude. I believe the first part, but that second part sounds great. Like that sounds like a wild, no offense, Fernando, that sounds like a wild fanboy situation right there. Is that true? That I'm gonna have to look into. What? Hold on. Microsoft takes away Xbox. Let's see if I can find it. Let me do Brazil. Xbox Brazil is reportedly taking consoles away from outlets that report on the series price increase in the country. In Brazil in 2023, still an emerging market for Xbox. Oh wait, hold on. I'm on the second page here. So this was, oh shit. I think this might be real. This comes from Ariel Combo, a translation here. He says, yes, this is, he says, a lot of people are asking me to talk about the information that Xbox Brazil would be asking for the Series X and S consoles sent at the beginning of the generation back. Yes, this is happening. From the beginning, the contract sent with the consoles talked about loans for an indefinite period. This has not only occurred with Infinite Combo, but other vehicles as well. We don't know the reasons. Our Xbox gaming coverage remains on our PCs. Interesting. Here's another one, another tweet from Nelson Alves Jr. And he says, are we going... This is a translation. It's probably rough, but it says, are we going to set the playground on fire? Let's go. I just found out that Xbox BR or Xbox MX same shit, is retaliating. Yeah, this is. I'm trying to get the translation here. Return. It says retaliating, but it means returning the vehicles that dared to question the abusive increase of the Series S. They're taking back consoles loaned to the newsrooms. Pathetic authority. Are you going to FanFest protest? It says, and you know what's crazy? Dude, is Xbox like blowing up in Brazil? Because these, I guess these are like Brazilian, like, you know, game journalists. And these tweets are like blowing up, dude. They have like hundreds of thousands of views and likes and reposts. Dude, that's crazy if true. What the fuck are they doing? See, this is where shit like this is funny to me, because people are so quick to call out Sony for doing like business things and corporate things. It's like, yeah, we'll call out Sony for doing that. But a lot of these people act as if Microsoft either isn't or won't do the same thing. You know what I mean? And it's like, dude, they're a corporation, man. Like, they're not your friend. They don't give a shit about you. They want your money. They'll try to be friendly with you if they have to for the sake of their business. But I just think that's interesting, man. They've always had a big presence in Brazil. I guess I never realized that. And I apologize, guys. I got a couple super chats here. I'm going to read them. That's just so strange to me. I wonder if we'll get like an update on that. Kipford with a chat, $5 chat, says, can't stay long, got to get in my daily Xbox. Well, perfect timing, Kipford. Really love your channel. It helps my work nights go by fast. Can't be here live, but I definitely listen after. Well, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, that's one of the struggles I have here is I know that for the times I stream, a lot of people are working during the day and they can't catch them, and I feel bad. But that's why I always try to make sure to keep my streams going on Sunday as well, because I know a lot of people are off on Sunday. But yeah, I don't know. I agree with you, Kipford. Xbox in this instance, man. It sounds like they're really dropping the ball with the Series S in Brazil, and I don't know. Like, that's so weird to me that they would be asking journalists to return the consoles that they sent them. Like, it just seems kind of spiteful. Aren't games incredibly expensive in Brazil? I could see Gamepass being popular there. I think they are. I think they are. What a wild situation though. I mean, like, you increase the price. You announce you're increasing the price of your Series S console in a relatively popular market for Xbox to the same price as the PS5, and then at the same time, we're seeing journalists from Brazil, game journalists pointing out that apparently now they're being told to give back the consoles that Microsoft sent them. I mean, it's something just, it honestly doesn't sound believable, which is weird to me. Like, that just sounds so not, you're saying typical Microsoft behavior. Honestly, that sounds like atypical Microsoft behavior at this moment in time. Like I said a moment ago, like, Microsoft cares very much about how they like look right now, like PR wise. So that's really strange to me. And I see we have Corey the Legend Landiga. Dude, he shows up again. Corey, what is going on, man? He comes in and he drops 10 memberships, bro. 10 memberships. Corey the Legend does it again.
Appreciate it.
Let's see. What soundbite? We'll do a Metal Gear soundbite.
Kept you waiting.
We'll do a Crazy Arnold. Corey, thank you so much, man. You've been supporting the channel so much lately across all of the streams. I really do appreciate that, bud. That actually brings us up to 12 members on the day. Good stuff. Let me add that to the counter. Yeah, W's in the chat for Corey, man. He's a massive supporter of the channel here. You saying you missed the Cerny?
Dangerous.
Throw Mark Cerny in there.
Teraflops is an absolute indicator of performance.
Bro is a machine. He is. Corey is a machine out here, man. A gift-giving machine. Very kind of him to do that. I have a super chat from Geek Fox, and it says here it's their first time super chatting. So shout out to you, Geek Fox, for that. I really appreciate it. You're saying I'd rather read another 100 Hassan excuses for the abandon delay than pay money for this Ascension shit. It is really disappointing. I don't blame you, man. I actually am in agreement. I mean, you can say Hassan Karaman was a con artist and Blue Box was a scam, but you know what? They never asked for our money. You know, they never did ask for our money, and they gave us quite the show in a way. Meanwhile, Konami with Ascension is like, yeah, you want to buy our battle pass for the Silent Hill game? Dude, there's like this. I got to see if I can find this image. It's everywhere. I got to bring it up on screen. I'll see if I can find it. I think it was trending. Of course, now the one time I want to click on it, it's not trending anymore. It still has to be trending, right? It's not showing up for me. All right, let me just look it up. It's because people were posting all these images, and there was this one where it was like a sticker pack or something where it just had like in big, bold, colorful letters, it just said like trauma. And it's like, dude, who made that? Like, this isn't Silent Hill at all. Who made this? Yo, wait, really quick. Have you guys seen the anybody who's on Twitter, you guys have seen the Vince McMahon meme or video clip constantly being used, right? Of him like crying, where he's like, dude, the funniest one I saw is somebody said, Grandpa, is it true that Hideo Kojima, Guillermo del Toro, and Junji Ito were working on a Silent Hill game that was canceled after a universally praised playable teaser? And then they just put that video clip of Vince McMahon crying. It's like, that is, I think, the best use so far of it. It's trauma is what the sticker says. Is that what it says? It's trauma? Oh my God, that's even worse. It's trauma. Silent Hill, it's trauma, guys. What is going on? Apparently, the developers did a stream where they defended the microtransactions and they disabled the chat. That's so weird, man. Like, here it is. It's the Founders Pack. All right, I found the image. I want to bring this up. I'm going to read the rest of these super chats, but I just want to show this to you guys so you can get a better idea of what we're talking about. Hold on, Leia. I got to show them this picture. Let me bring it up. Oh, sorry. I got to shrink it real quick. Look at this. Look at this. This is for an interactive Silent Hill experience. Founders Pack. $20. This isn't even. Look at this. It's trauma. It's trauma. Dude, come on, man. This is so cringe. I can't believe it. Unlock the season pass, all puzzles, exclusive cosmetics. Dude, I was watching somebody go over the like through the battle pass, and like just the amount of pants that I saw like 5 or 6 different pairs of pants. Like, bro, what have you done? What has this industry become, man? Holy shit. The first new Silent Hill game in 11 years is out now, and they have the nerve to hit you with a $20 Founders Pack pop-up before you even have a chance to see what it's like. By the way, check out the It's Trauma sticker. Quirky and fun. Very Silent Hill, in my opinion.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
Oh my God. Amazing. Amazing. Wow. Konami, you're nailing it. You're nailing it. Kitford again says, I still have the abandoned app on my PS5. That's dedication, man. Yeah, that thing is still there. The abandoned app is still there on PS5. You can download it. New sound bit. Oh, dude. Yes, I just played that from the video, but absolutely that should be a new sound bite. Good one, Devil Shooter. I'll have to remember to get that one in there after the stream. Joe Pesci from Goodfellas. Disco Cobra 2013 with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much for that, man. It's very kind of you. You're saying here, I finally started Spider-Man 2. Feels a bit easier than the last game, although I never beat the first one either. I like the web swinging and gliding mechanics. I also have a hard time with multiple gun thugs. And you have another super chat here that says, I'm probably just not good at the game, but it is fun. Can't wait to get to Venom sections of the game. He looks incredible. Yeah, dude, when it comes to Venom in this game, I don't think you'll be disappointed. Again, I still don't want to spoil anything because I know that there are still people who haven't finished it. But Venom was my favorite part of the game, hands down. And, you know, I was saying, man, when I was talking about Spider-Man 2, most of the game didn't feel difficult to me. I just played on regular difficulty as well. Like, I didn't play it on the harder difficulty. I just didn't feel the need to. But, dude, there were some boss battles where I'm like, why am I struggling with these boss battles? Like, I think there was a battle with Kraven where I died like way more than I care to admit. And I was just like, what the F am I doing wrong? And I don't know, man. Like, I'm not trying to, maybe I'm bad at the game as well. I don't know. But I got to admit, some of these boss battles were, some of them were easy, but some of them were actually more challenging than, you know, than I would have expected. But Disco Cobra, man, just you're saying you're struggling with enemies, like multiple gun thugs. Yeah, I get what you're saying, because it's like I get so into the melee combat that I a lot of times forget that they're just like kind of thugs that stand out there, and they aim at you and they shoot you, and it just completely interrupts your combo. But it sounds like generally you're enjoying the game, man, and that's good to hear. I think Spider-Man's one of those games that, you know, even if you're not the biggest fan of Spider-Man or superhero games, I think there's still something there to enjoy. But Disco Cobra, thank you so much for the super chats, man. That's basically $25 in super chats. It's very generous of you. I really appreciate it. Appreciate that support. I have Pony Up saying, how are those rat burgers down in Old Brasilio? Oh my God, rat burgers? Rat burgers. Is that a real thing? Like, is that, I mean, I'm sure somebody has, is that a thing? Somebody tell me. I know there's a viewer here from Brazil. Is that actually a, dude, the only time, you know, it's funny. It reminds me of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, bro. No joke. It reminds me, isn't there like like when you're playing MGS3, you're saying they do eat rats? I mean, when you're playing MGS3, you have to like hunt your food and stuff, and you can like, you get these little video clips that play sometimes. It shows like Snake cooking the food. And I think one of the ones, I could be wrong, but I swear I remember one of the clips that they would show is him cooking like a rat on a stick or something and eating it. I was like, that's pretty badass. I know they would show like a video clip of him eating a snake. And it was actually really funny because there was like a bunch of dialogue in MGS3 about him like talking about the different flavors and tastes of all these different animals he was eating in the jungle. But rat on a stick, yeah. It wasn't Demolition Man. Oh, okay. Yeah. Shit. Yeah, I never had rat before, man. Is it good? Does rat taste good? I could see somebody giving me rat, like cooked rat, and not telling me. I'd be like, damn, this is really good. And they're like, yeah, that's a cooked rat. It's like, oh, I don't know if it tastes as good now. China cooking with motor oil? Oh, man. They eat horse in one of the Scandinavian countries? Shit, dude. Wonder how horse tastes. You'd rather eat rat instead of insects. I wouldn't want to eat insects, man. I hate insects. There's no, like, I would. It reminds me of watching Man vs. Wild and Bear Grylls, and how, dude, he will just eat anything, and I'm like, how? Like, how do you do that? Lobster and crab are insects. Yeah, I guess technically, maybe that's true. You're saying insects are a good protein source. That's weird. So I want to understand, like, what does that mean exactly? Like, insects, when they say it's a good protein source, I mean, assuming you're eating like small bugs, is it the amino acid? Is that what it is? Like it has all the essential amino acids. Is that what they mean? Because I imagine you're eating these small bugs, you're probably not getting that much protein. Like, kind of reminds me of eggs in a way, where it's like eggs are really good because you're not getting like a large amount of protein if you just eat like 2 eggs, but you're getting like a complete protein, which is what makes it so good. Cricket powder. All right, this is where we're going to move on now. You're saying you ate dog in Vietnam and didn't know, and it kind of tasted like chicken. Damn. I guess the only question I have at that point is, would you have rather not known? Crocodile meat is amazing. I never had crocodile meat. How do we get on this? We're just preparing for Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, guys. That's why we're having this conversation. Talking about Konami. Of course, this is what we're going to segue into. Time to move on. Yeah. Time to move on. You're saying, yeah, you wish they didn't tell you? Well, at least, I guess at the very least, it's something you can say. Eat the bugs. Sleep in the pod. Shit, pony up. I appreciate the super chats though, man. Okay, what? Cow's feet? I mean, I eat beef, man, but I've never. All right, we got to move on. Now we're getting way off track. I meant to talk to you guys about some God of War DLC, and we're talking about eating cow's feet and everything else. That's so funny to me, though. Really quick, you're saying snake tastes like chicken, and so does gator. I swear, dude, I feel like Snake said that in MGS3. He was like, tastes like chicken. All right. Got way off track here. Pony up with another super chat. Says Series S, but uses the $sign in place of the S. Fitting. Eating an Xbox Series S in Brazil. Oh, man. I wouldn't recommend that. Ice Rezo says Brazil has been putting high tariffs on consumer electronics as a means to negotiate manufacturing these items locally in their country. India does the same. That's interesting. I mean, yeah, I could see how that definitely impacts companies like Microsoft, where you're just potentially going to lose a ton of money. But I don't know. I think that puts Microsoft in particular in a really awkward situation, because Microsoft is, again, they're trying to be like the most pro-consumer. It's called protectionism. The Zombie Fanatic says, what do you think about MGS4, MBG? MGS4 is one of my favorite games of all time. That's what I think of MGS4. Absolute masterpiece. I mean, at this point, I'm waiting for Konami to announce the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2, which should include MGS4, and that, no matter what, will be a day one buy for me. For sure. Saying it's a great movie. It's been so long since I played it. Whenever I do play it again, I'm going to be curious to see if my opinion on how long the cutscenes have changed. I doubt it. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed all the cutscenes. I enjoyed all the codec talks, everything. I loved it. And we have Hellbound 1981. Hellbound comes in and follows up Corey Landiga's 10 memberships by dropping 5 of his own, making it 15 memberships gifted between the two. Hellbound, big shout out to you, my friend, and a big thank you as always. You're here again with Corey pretty much every stream, always dropping some membership gifts, and it's very, very kind of you, man. Thank you for the continued support. Guys, let's get some W's in the chat for Hellbound 1981, another legend here. Another legend doing some heavy lifting. Let's see. What soundbite should I use?
Do not be sorry.
Use that since we're going to be talking about God of War.
Better.
And Snake, because we're talking about Metal Gear. So appreciate that, bud. That actually brings us up to 17 members. 17 members. I should probably get this picture out now. Yeah, let me get rid of that. We've looked at that long enough. But Ice, thank you so much for the super chat as well, buddy. We have Michael Lynch here with a $5 chat, and he says, I like quality games. I wouldn't touch another Xbox console. Value is not why I play games. I feel mostly the same way, Michael. I mean, look, at this point in time, I don't really have much against Xbox. Truthfully, like, I know it seems like I still have like such a axe to grind with them. If anything, it's actually not so much the Xbox brand anymore as much as it's just the fan base is becoming insufferable, dude. Not the entire fan base, the toxic fanboys. Like they're getting, it's too much. But I can't deny that nothing Xbox is doing is exciting to me. And I'm not stacking that up against what Sony is or isn't doing. I'm just like, that is a standalone statement. Like nothing they're doing is exciting to me. Maybe the only thing is Hellblade. But outside of that, like I'm just not interested in the way they're going about doing their business. Where it's like, oh, we got like 50 studios. And it's like, that's great, but what games are they going to be making? And it's like, well, a lot of the same stuff that was already out there. Okay, like, if I was already interested in that stuff, I would have been playing it. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, State of Decay as well. It's just difficult to talk about State of Decay because it's like we have no idea how far along that game is. Like, don't get me wrong. If Microsoft comes out here and they're like, yo, we're bringing back Tony Hawk, we're bringing back Guitar Hero and stuff, I'd be like, okay, now you're talking my language, right? Now you're speaking my language. Let's do this. Saying the last State of Decay was mid, come on. It was, truthfully. But it was still an enjoyable game. I enjoyed State of Decay. I actually think I enjoyed State of Decay 1 more than the sequel because my expectations for the sequel were way too high. Hellblade 2, my only concern about Hellblade 2 is like we have not seen gameplay, man. I mean, Hellblade 2, I am assuming will be a good game and a great game. I really enjoyed the first one. But I just think it's crazy that like they haven't shown actual like moment-to-moment gameplay of this title. And it was announced like all the way back in 2019. I'm not assuming that means it's going to be bad. I'm just saying like that's weird to me. Like why like for example, the Xbox showcase they did this year, I just think it was so weird that they're like, we're going to show a cutscene for Hellblade. It's like, I mean, yeah, it looks great. And I like the mocap, the voice acting, and it's all great, but like, you got to leave something to build hype later. Yeah, maybe you're right. We'll see. Hell Stranding. And that's the thing is like, I have a pretty good idea of what the gameplay is going to be like. I just want to see it, you know? I want to see it in action. I want to see what type of improvements or changes they've made. But yeah, Hellblade will probably be a good game. But truthfully, outside of Hellblade, I just could not fucking care less about most of the stuff that Microsoft's doing. Like, it's just like you see people like bragging about like the next, and it is true. Like, of course, the next first party Microsoft game is Call of Duty. It's like, yeah. And what's exciting about that exactly? Like, it's Call of Duty, you know. It's you know what I mean? Like, it's literally a DLC that we're getting this year. There's nothing exciting about it. I don't know, man. Maybe we'll see. I think Microsoft, they did say that now that they have publishers and so many developers and teams that they're going to start doing like shows more frequently. So that's pretty cool, you know. It gives them more opportunity to reveal newer stuff, but yeah, I'm just really not. I was really into Xbox at one time for a long time, and I can honestly just say that the way that they're going, you know, you Michael, you say here that value is not why you play games. Same here, man. I mean, I guess it depends on what you consider valuable. Like, I'm just not looking to play as many games as I possibly can and having a massive catalog to choose from. That's just, you know, that doesn't interest me. Jake Skull says they're not all going to be good. No, they see that's the thing here that I think Xbox fans are not, at least like Xbox fanboys are not really taking into account. It's that, yeah, you can brag about having 50 studios or whatever and all of this IP, like, and how you're going to have game output like every quarter. That doesn't, again, like, none of that guarantees that these games are going to be good. Like, more doesn't equal better in most cases. And that's what's so kind of funny to me is that, like, people just either are ignoring that or they just, you know, I'm not saying they're all going to be bad either. Like, if 1 in 4 games is a massive hit game, then that's really all that's going to matter to Microsoft. If it gets, you know, people subscribed and staying subscribed. But, you know, the more games you release, the more rapidly they release. I mean, you just, again, it can be a double-edged sword, you know? There's every chance it could be mediocre and not land, or every chance it could be good. It could be a surprise hit. So we'll see. It's, you know, we haven't seen Microsoft's output with 2 publishers now. That'll be an interesting thing to witness. Waved Max says, if you want a great game, MBG, then play Peppa Pig 2. Somebody told me that's a horror game. You're saying Sony wishes they had service games like Grounded, Halo Infinite, and Sea of Thieves. Kind of funny. Yeah, you're probably not wrong there. I think you are correct. And you know what's weird, though? Do you know what's so weird about what you just said there is that, like, those games are not massively successful service games. Like, Sea of Thieves is successful, but it's not, like, in the upper echelon of, like, the Fortnites and the GTA Onlines and Call of Duties. But it's self-sustainable, and it's good enough. I think Sony should be focusing maybe to try to, like, achieve something like that, where it doesn't have to be in the upper echelon to work and to be enjoyable and to have a healthy player base. And even a game like Grounded. I mean, I don't know how Halo Infinite is now, but yeah. Yeah. 1 or 2, not 12. Yeah, we talked all about that yesterday. I don't want to get deep into that again. But simply put, man, yeah, they have GT7. That's true. I'd say that's a successful live service game. They have MLB. I think Jim Ryan not to sound like a broken record from yesterday again, but I think like it's clear at this point he really did think like almost all of their games have to have some kind of live service element. And I think from like a bigger picture standpoint, it's like, yeah, I could see why you would think that's a really dead horse. Sorry, man. I could see why you think that's really a I think that's the best way to put it, Leo. I think he just went overboard. I think he went overboard. Got ahead of his skis, so to speak. Is Quantum Error that bad of a game, MBG? I have no idea. I will tell you, like, look, I haven't looked into this. I don't even know what the gameplay looks like. It could be a disaster, but I don't know. It could be a lot better than what people are saying. All I do know is I have seen Xbox fans absolutely obliterating this development team. So I don't know. I don't know if the devs have like, did they pick a fight with Xbox fans or something? I don't know. I feel like I remember covering this game a long time ago. I think they announced it alongside the launch of the PS5 or something. Why are we not talking about Bungie? Biggest news in gaming. Titus Crow, bro. Go check out my stream from yesterday. 4.5 hours. That's all we talked about. I don't know if you missed it, but yeah, I did a stream yesterday. 4.5 hours. All we talked about is Bungie. That's why I'm not really going to bring it up today, because it's like, it's too much, man. Saying it's only 4 brothers that developed it. Not bad. I mean, even if it doesn't turn out to be that great of a game, like, that's still impressive, I think. 4 people making a game. Summary, RIP Bungification. Yeah. They spoke about the power of the PS5. Xbox didn't like that. B Flesher says MBG, they honestly deserved. Their whole marketing campaign was their game was only possible on PS5 and had trouble running on Xbox. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know, now that you mention it, I feel like I've come across in the past like different articles or something or tweets they put out. Damn, the timing though. I think the timing is what's killing them. Because if that's true, if that was their marketing campaign where it's like, our game's only possible, PS5 SSD, we're having trouble with Xbox, dude. Xbox, like I said, they have a lot of wind in their sails. The fan base, I mean, they're revved up. Not good timing. Again, I haven't seen any gameplay of it though, so I can't speak to it at all. Frankly, not interested in it. No offense to the developers. I just, I got Alan Wake 2 and Lies of P lined up, and I'm good to go, man. TB says, love how we know nothing PlayStation first parties are doing. Yeah, I mean, it's just a giant question mark, dude. The finals. You know what? That's my bad. A couple of you guys were telling me to go check that game out, and I totally forgot. I'll probably forget again, man. Alan Wake 2 has 30% better performance on Xbox, according to Digital Foundry. Well, it's about time, dude. It's about time. I mean, I guess the real question is it a day late and $1 short? I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but the question I think is it a day late and $1 short? Because I don't think anybody is buying, like, even Microsoft, dude. I don't know if anybody's noticed, like, even Microsoft stopped marketing the Series X by calling it like the most powerful console and stuff. Like, they just walked away from that. And I think it's just because it doesn't matter, man. I don't know if that seems pretty. Maybe that's true. I'd have to watch it. But I think the whole power conversation and the whole power narrative is dead. And it's been for, I think, like a year or two now, because the PS5 proved itself. That was kind of the whole thing is a lot of people, vocal people in a certain fan base, they really tried to paint this picture that the PS5 was a less capable console and would struggle. especially against the Series X. And the PS5 came out and proved that. I mean, that it obliterated that narrative, entirely. And I'm not surprised, man. Like, that's what happens when you bet against Mark Cerny, right? Saying, calm down, we're only halfway through the generation. I mean, yeah, we could see a shift. We could. It's just hard for me to imagine that, though, You know why? Because, like, you know why it really won't matter? Because if Sony's going to release a Pro model of the PS5 next year, it won't matter, dude. If they're just going to come out with the PS5 Pro and it's like, yeah, we're like, this thing is way more powerful than the Series X, it's over then. And considering Microsoft has no intention of doing that, I don't think Sony has to worry about that. I'm so curious to see how Sony handles the PS5 Pro. Spider-Man 2 has a 100% advantage in performance over Xbox Series X and S. Did you hear? I mean, you know what? I think I did hear about that. MBG, Microsoft has a Pro in their back pocket. What makes you think that, though? Like, is that just like you're assuming like it's possible. It's possible, man. I don't think so, though. Like, their console, they have a Series S, man. That's the thing, is if the Series S didn't exist, I would say, yeah, they probably do have a Pro console or like a mid-gen refresh. But I don't think Microsoft wants to have 3 different Xbox models. Like, they're already struggling to sell the Series X as it is. The S is the bulk of their sales. Like, putting out an even more premium console, I believe Phil in this instance, man. When he says, like, yeah, we don't really have any plans for that, I actually do believe him. I don't think he's trying to, throw a curveball or anything. So, Domingo813 says, Sony needs to buy the Soulja Boy console company. Yeah, man. Probably get it for like $5 or something at this point. Damn, Domingo. They should consult you. Sony should consult you, Domingo. You have the good ideas. You're saying this MBG, the Switch 2 will kill the power narrative completely. Yeah, you're probably right. I think you're right about that. Guys, I want to talk to you. So we talked about Silent Hill Ascension and the disaster. Let me report to you real quick. God of War Ragnarok DLC apparently going to be released, or not released, announced very soon. This is Insider Gaming. A new report has claimed that a God of War Ragnarok DLC will be announced later this year, possibly at the Game Awards. The news comes courtesy of Spanish outlet Arena Juegans, which I think I'm saying that correctly, which has previously reported on accurate leaks in the past. So that's important to understand here. This is not a no-name source. This source has actually reported on some PlayStation stuff and was correct. According to the outlet, the news comes from sources close to Sony that claim the DLC could come as its own standalone game, somewhat similar to Spider-Man Miles Morales. The report outlines that its sources are unclear how this DLC is going to be announced, but they theorize all signs point to the Game Awards. And so, yeah, guys, I got to ask you this question. If we do get like a standalone God of War DLC, like, it's standalone like Miles Morales and Uncharted Lost Legacy, you can buy it. It's going to be treated like a AA game, basically, or like a smaller AAA game, whatever you want to call it. How would you feel if it does star Atreus? Because you know what I've noticed? And it would probably be $50. Like, if this is like a standalone game like Miles Morales, it'll probably be $50. It won't be $70. You know what I was surprised to see? Quite a few people have expressed that they would not want to play a game where you play as Atreus. And that's really interesting to me, because I do wonder if like I do wonder if that could be underwhelming to a lot of people. I mean, God of War Ragnarok sold really, really, really well. They might they might want to stick with Kratos, man. But it also depends. Like, I think in order for Atreus to, because I enjoyed playing as Atreus in Ragnarok, but I feel like he needs to be fleshed out a little bit more. You know, he needs to be fleshed out a little bit more, and he needs to just, I don't know. I know he's got like the bow. I thought it was just kind of weird that you just beat the shit out of people with your bow. You know, it was appropriate in the game, but I just don't imagine that like holding up too well as a standalone. Like if that's the only thing you do, or the only like melee attack you have. You're saying we'll be lucky to play as Atreus. More than likely, half of it will be Angerboda. Oh yeah, they could go in that direction. Yeah, they could go in that direction where it's like it's split between Atreus and Angerboda. I mean, I'd be interested. I'd be down. I like Atreus, and I mean, it's not that I didn't like his sections in Ragnarok. I did. It's just I can't lie in that I just care way more about Kratos. I care way more about, you know, the journey that Kratos and Atreus are going on. And I don't know. But then again, like I'd be willing to see like what changes they could make, what different type of gameplay mechanics they could incorporate, how they could make playing as Atreus feel like very distinct. I mean, it already does feel distinct, but even more distinct, but even more like I just feel like Atreus kind of, you know, he doesn't bring that type of brutality that I think is expected when you play as Kratos and when you're playing a God of War game. So maybe it'll be like Atreus is a little bit older, a little bit more capable, a little bit more badass. Or maybe Kratos is like, here, take my axe or something. I don't know. Is it because Atreus is softer than Kratos? No, like no, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what it is, man. It's just when I'm imagining, like, I think it's just because no matter what, playing as anybody other than Kratos feels like a step down in terms of, you know, how capable they are. I mean, obviously, Atreus is very capable. Maybe plays Tyr. Oh, that would be interesting. Now, that would be very interesting. That would be a very unexpected surprise, because it's like he is technically a God of War, right? So I don't know, man. I will say this though. Whatever they choose to do, I'm on board. I have the utmost faith in Santa Monica Studio. They have not disappointed with God of War 2018, with Ragnarok, and if they want to have like if they do decide like this is going to focus on Atreus, I assume it will be very good. You know, like I'm not going to assume anything other than that. I won't. I will say I'm not necessarily going to assume that I'm going to enjoy this more than I did Ragnarok. It's like Miles. Like I didn't enjoy Miles Morales more than I enjoyed Spider-Man 2018. But for what Miles Morales was, it was very good. It's like, wow, like this is a great kind of, you know, in between as we wait for Spider-Man 2. So if that's the direction they go in, I'm all for it. And maybe, you know what, honestly, maybe that's the smarter way to go about it, frankly. Because you have to imagine if they're going to make another God of War, and it'll be probably set, people always keep saying it's going to be set in Egypt or something, which would be awesome. Like Egyptian mythology. If they go in that direction, the assumption is you're going to still play as Kratos. Maybe a Trace as well, like a kind of back and forth where you can choose. Maybe like kind of the way Spider-Man 2 handled it between Peter and Miles. Maybe having a game, since Ragnarok you mostly played as Kratos, maybe having a game where you just play as Atreus the whole time, it'll kind of give that sense of like, man, I can't wait to play as Kratos again. And it'll feel like a little bit of a return, you know what I mean? A return to form when the next God of War comes out. Not so much like, okay, here's more God of War. Here's more Kratos, you know? I don't know. Just thinking about it from different angles. Josh Z says, Sony fans, we need new IP. Nintendo fans had the same major IP for 40 years and are perfectly happy. Yeah, that's such a strange thing that I've noticed, Josh. I really have noticed how it seems like there's just a completely different expectation from the different fan bases. And I'm okay, man. I'm okay in Sony wanting to leverage their successful IP. I'm not saying I want to see them milk it, dry, but I'm okay with them wanting to keep it going if it's working, Actually, you're saying I'm losing a lot of faith in Sony. BlackRock owns 91 million shares of Sony, and they're pushing the DEI and ESG scores hard. And for me, it is completely ruining games. Damn. That's rough, actually. I mean, I get it. There are certain things that, like, it's not perfect, I can say that. It's not perfect. It'll be fascinating to see, again, like, what Sony does, it'll be fascinating to see, like, what Sony does with their current, I mean, like The Last of Us, Horizon, obviously God of War, but even something like Uncharted. Uncharted is going to be interesting because, I mean, there is, no pun intended, there's like a legacy there, right, with Nathan Drake and whatnot, and I feel like that could go, that could go south real quick. I don't know. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to talk about that yet because I don't want to spoil anything accidentally. Gaming Survivor says the channels that hate on you are a new trend of arrogant and insecure PC master race bait fanboys that use Xbox as a proxy and fuel console wars for clicks. Damn. Dude, I feel like I feel like everything you just said there is almost like the opening monologue, like the first couple lines of the opening monologue of Old Snake in MGS4, dude. Because that's how I read it. Or that's how I heard it in my head. I think you're right, though. It's obvious, man. It is. It's obvious. And, it is what it is, bro. Like, I've said it so many times at this point. I'm not going to keep saying it, but I'll just say it one more time. It's just the pendulum that swings back and forth, man. People are sheep. People flock like sheep to whatever's popular that week, that month, that year. And, I just hope, if anything, this proves that the people who called me out back in the day for switching the PlayStation just for views and because it was popular, hopefully this proves that actually, no, that was never a reason why I did that. I don't know why people, it's so weird that people thought that, but, yeah, right now the popular thing is to ride Microsoft, and, everything Xbox does is great. And, everything Sony does is bad. And Sony fanboys are, this is a whole 9 yards. It is what it is, man. The pendulum swings though, and it's swinging. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying, like, dude, these guys got to be prepared. I hope they are preparing for the next Microsoft fuck up, because it's coming. I'm not saying it's coming this year, might not even happen next year, but it is inevitable. It is inevitable, man. It's just the way it goes. It's always the way it goes. Microsoft will fuck up in a big way eventually, and people are going to turn on them. And when they do, you just got to wonder, like, these people that are, that's why I've always was sure to remind people that it's easy to just be anonymous, It's easy to just create a profile, create an account. Not many eyes are on you, and you can just kind of swing with the pendulum back and forth. So follow whatever's popular. That's fine. I mean, it's a very common thing. I don't even judge people who do that. But it's just when people who do have influence or people who do have a lot of eyes on them, they start to do that as well. And then it's like, well, you got to be ready. You got to be ready for the shit to hit the fan, man. When's the Spidey spoiler cast? Probably very soon. I don't think I'm going to dedicate an entire stream to it just because I don't think I could. I don't know. I'll have to think about how I'm going to handle it. Because I feel like if I were to dedicate an entire stream, I don't think I could just do a Spider-Man spoiler cast to justify an entire stream. But I could do a lengthy segment on one of the streams. But I'll think about it. You saying I should? My Spider-Man 2 spoiler cast will be me just playing through the entire game. It'll be an entire playthrough. I'm kidding, of course, but... You're saying, MBG, dude, be honest. Microsoft has fucked up the most out of the three for decades. Stop it. Sony is only now going through this for a long while. Well, yeah, that I agree with. Like, dude, listen, man. The amount of Xbox fans that have been waiting to be vindicated is crazy. All right. And that's what's happening for them right now. But this is why, again, I don't give a shit how much confidence you have in Microsoft. The question I will always ask is, where did that confidence come from? And the only thing, and this is just a fact, the only thing that these fans or these fanboys, whatever these people can say, is my confidence came from Microsoft's money and what they can buy, and that's fair. I'm not here to say you can't have confidence in that. You can. That's fair. They're a business. They're saying we're going to buy this and give it to you and deliver it to you. It's fair. But that's where it comes from. And I just think people need to be able to admit that and just call it what it is. And it's that you have confidence in Microsoft's ability to spend money. Anything outside of that has yet to be proven. Because the only thing that's been proven for the past 2 decades is that they don't know what they're doing. Or they've had a few moments here and there where they caught lightning in a bottle, and then everything else outside of that has just been messy and rough. And when it comes to Sony hasn't been perfect either. Sony has had they've had issues. I mean, the biggest fuck up Sony had was at the beginning of the PS3 where they nearly killed their shit. Sony nearly killed their own brand, similar to what Microsoft did, but Sony was able to pull it together. But in terms of overall consistency, I mean, Sony's been involved in the industry for got something in my eye here. Wow, okay. Apparently just 7 of my eyelashes want to fall out. Excuse me while I just rip my eyelashes out on stream, guys. This is what you tune in for. Oh, man. I don't know what's up with that. Bunch of eyelashes was just we're going to fuck off now. Turning into a horror stream. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Some kind of hex that Xbox fans put on me or something. Anytime I talk negatively about Xbox, my eyelashes start to fall out, bro. That's funny. I don't even remember what the hell I was saying. MBG is ripping his eyelashes out. Shit. Quality content. Hey, man, it's all for you guys. Bossman Davey 1980 says it's all good until Game Pass hikes that price up to sustain the fat price tag they paid for Activision. Yeah, that will happen. I don't know when, but Game Pass, the price of Game Pass will steadily go up over time. The market is simply... See, the reason why I'm just not confident in saying that that's going to happen soon, because you're right, they did pay a lot for Activision, and who knows, they come 2024, they could be getting ready to announce a significant price raise. I would not be surprised at all if by this time next year, when the next Call of Duty is getting ready to release, like Black Ops. Actually, I'll probably play that Call of Duty because I like Treyarch's games, most of them. I'm assuming there'll be a new Black Ops game. When that happens, when they say like, yeah, we're dropping this day one into Game Pass, no one should be surprised when they announce a significant price increase. It's not going to be $1. If they didn't announce a price increase, I would be stunned because I'd be like, wow, this really is just a matter of just get as many people in as you can. Like they're really not worried about the money they make on Game Pass. Not right now anyway. But I wouldn't be surprised if they're planning that now. And, they'll be, because if you, here's the thing. If Microsoft is smart, they will raise the price of Game Pass when they announce the next Call of Duty's dropping into it. You know why? Because that's the best time. That is the best time for you to do it where you will get the least amount of pushback. Because think about it. You'll be able to say, yeah, we've increased the price of Game Pass to $16 a month or $15 a month or something. Like the basic Game Pass subscription. We went from $11 to $15. Yeah, people are going to be a little bit frustrated, but when they say we are adding a bunch of Call of Duty games, classic Call of Duty games, and you're going to get the new Call of Duty, suddenly everybody's going to be like, oh, okay, sounds fair to me. You get what I'm saying? To whereas if you don't raise the price and if you condition the Xbox Game Pass subscriber base right now to expect to get Call of Duty every year for $11 a month on top of everything else, it's going to be difficult for them to get away with raising the price in the future without really pissing people off. So my guess is Microsoft is going to rip the Band-Aid off. You're saying, but what if they don't? If they don't, that tells me this really is a very long-term play where they are willing to lose a fuck ton of money. I mean, a lot of money, potentially, in the name of we just want subscribers. And maybe that is the play. That could be, but it's just difficult for me to believe that because, dude, it is hard for me to imagine a company like Microsoft just being like, we don't want to raise the prices. We just don't care. That's just that to me just doesn't make sense or add up. Where it's like that is not. I mean, it's like it's almost it doesn't compute. I understand why they haven't done much yet. Like they've only done a minor price increase from $10 to $11. You're saying MBG, you're speculating though. You have no proof Game Pass is currently losing money. Well, it's not so much about whether or not it's losing money. It's about the investment. What I do know is Microsoft spent $68 billion. And I can tell you that Game Pass is nowhere even remotely close to justifying that purchase. Not even close. And that's why I'm saying it's all a matter of leverage. I think that's what it comes down to. It's a matter of leverage. Sony already dramatically increased the price of their service. Microsoft could right now, without putting Call of Duty into Game Pass, raise the price and justify it by simply saying, well, Sony did it a lot worse than we did. And we're still giving you more. And people would be okay with that. Like, that's what's strange to me is like, dude, how long can Microsoft keep the act up is what I want to know. That's what I want to know. How long can they keep the act up? Because that's what it is. And people are stupid, frankly, if they think otherwise. Enjoy the deal. I'm not saying you're stupid for liking the value or enjoying the deal. You're not stupid for that. But the people I'm really referring to are just like the ridiculous fanboys that just, they try to create a false narrative that was created. Well, they don't create it. They run with a false narrative that was created by Microsoft's PR teams, you know? And that narrative is like, yeah, we care about you as a player and we want to give you the best deal. We want to save you money. Like, no, they don't. Okay, they're trying to get into the good graces of as many people as they possibly can so that eventually they're getting all the money from everybody or as much as they possibly can. And I get it. Like right now, it's like, how can you say that when like, what a joke, right? Like, what a joke. Like Sony's they're asking people to pay ridiculous prices for their subscription service to play online and $70 for games. And it's like, listen, who's out here saying Sony's being pro-consumer? They're not being pro-consumer, but they're not being nearly as anti-consumer as people make it sound because they're just doing business. They're just producing products and asking people to pay money for those products. And this is why I think these people, frankly, do sound stupid because it's like the amount of people crying, you know, and being cynical, you know, being the cynical clowns laughing like, man, Sony's out here ripping people off. You think so? Is that why Microsoft is getting fucking obliterated sales-wise? Is that why Sony's games are selling so well? Is that why Sony's actually doing great? Because people feel like they're being too anti-consumer? I'll tell you, man. One of the reasons why Microsoft had to buy Activision Blizzard is because Microsoft found out that, holy shit, it turns out that creating a gaming subscription service and putting our own games in it is not enough. Holy shit, it turns out buying Bethesda and promising their games in it is not enough. Now we need somebody like Activision Blizzard, and now we need something like Call of Duty. And hopefully this will be enough. Guys, I don't even know. That is crazy. Like, I don't think people are kind of zooming out enough and realizing like that is the power that Sony and Nintendo have. And it's not the power of anti-consumerism. It's the power of, holy shit, people really want their products. And they're willing to support them and pay for them. That is exactly what Microsoft has been fighting against. And now they need Call of Duty to fight against that. So if anything, it just reveals that, you know, what people like me and others have been saying has been true this entire time, and it remains true. And it's just that people don't mind paying for quality, man. Like, they don't mind paying for stuff that they actually think is going to be really good. I think Microsoft even just found that out themselves with Starfield. Starfield is like the biggest game that they've ever had, or at least in the past decade, from what I can remember. And look at how many sales they made early from people being like, I'm going to pay to play this game, to own this game and play it early. Fuck Game Pass. Like, I'm just going to buy this game. You know, like it's just, it proves that like you just have to have something of quality, man. Like, that's the thing, is people have always criticized Xbox for being like, people aren't buying Xbox games. And I mean, yeah, that was true. And I that is true, but that was true. That's what led to the creation of Game Pass. People weren't buying the consoles and they weren't buying the games. But, you know, think about what the biggest criticism of Microsoft was during that time. It was, your games just aren't that good. Like, they're just not that desirable. I mean, when you know, I don't blame Microsoft, man. When you're going up against Sony and Nintendo, you gotta fucking you gotta have the skill. You do. You have to know the game. You got to be good at the game if you're going to try to compete with Sony and Nintendo. So, you know, I know all this sounds like I'm shitting on Microsoft, but in reality, it's just, I'm just presenting you a different perspective on everything that Microsoft is doing. That's not filled with PR bullshit and fanboy rhetoric. Everything I just said is the truth. Like, Microsoft, they need Activision Blizzard in order to make their business model a success. And there's still no guarantee that it'll be a success. There's a massive assumption it will. Seems likely it will. But that's what they need. And, you know, I think that people tend to get away from the truth of a business model is about profitability. A business model is about long-term sustainability and profitability. Any business model, that's what it's about. And I just think that it's kind of silly to think that, you know, anything that Microsoft, Sony, or Nintendo are doing with their business model doesn't, like, that's not part of the equation. That is part of the equation. And I also want to say this too. I don't know how relevant this is, but I've seen quite a few people over the years say that, you know, it's okay what Microsoft is doing because they're shooting for a high number of subscribers. They want to get 60, 70, 80, 90, maybe 100 million subscribers one day. And if they have that many people, if they have like 100 million subscribers monthly, paying $10, $11 a month for Gamepass, some paying 15 or 16 for Ultimate, they're going to be raking in the money, no problem. But that is true. But at the same time, it's like, and you think that they're not going to leverage that power. See, that is the key here that so many people don't want to talk about right now. Look at what Sony's doing. Why do you think Sony came out and said, yeah, we're going to raise the price of PS Plus significantly? Well, people say greed, corporate greed. Yeah, of course. You know, or if it's not corporate greed, hey, it's inflation and they're trying to adjust to the market. I'm sure there is truth to that and people don't want to accept it. But either way, it's not good for us, right? Like, it's not good for the consumer that, oh, great, prices just went up significantly. Yay. No, it's bad. But you saw like a certain amount of outrage on the internet. And I told people, I said, guys, like, you can, and not to you guys, but just generally speaking, like, you can hate on Sony all you want. You can call them out for this. You can say you're unsubscribing. You can post images of you or videos of you unsubscribing. Doesn't matter. They have the leverage. Period. They have the leverage and you don't as an individual consumer. And it was proven correct. They do. It's the exact same reason why Sony doesn't have to do jack shit right now. Not that I'm okay with that. Like, I want them to do jack shit. I do. I want Sony to come out and fucking announce a surprise showcase tomorrow. I do. But they don't have to. They don't. They have the leverage. They have the power. I just want the people who are rooting so aggressively for Microsoft to understand that if you get your way eventually, like I said, the pendulum swings. If Microsoft really does climb that ladder and they climb it fast, and suddenly 3 or 4 years from now, they're sitting at 80, 90, possibly 100 million plus Game Pass subscribers. Do you know how much leverage they have? Oh my God. You're out of your fucking mind if you think they're not going to leverage the shit out of their subscription service and bump up the prices and get as much out of every subscriber as they possibly can. Because if Microsoft gets to that many subs, who's going to be close to them? Sony won't be, unless Sony decides to go day one with their games. But assuming they don't, Sony will probably stay where they are now at around 50 million. Maybe they'll be lower. Maybe they'll drop to 45 million or something. Or maybe they'll go up to like 60. But if Microsoft achieves what it is they're looking to achieve and they leapfrog everyone in the subscription service and they become the Netflix of gaming, and they're the only ones standing around where it's like, fuck, dude, no one is even remotely close to us. You think they're not going to leverage that? I'll tell you, the foolish fanboys out there will say, no, they won't. And they're going to be the ones that get slapped across the face the hardest when that day comes. And what's slapping them across the face is business reality, corporate reality. Doesn't Sony leverage their number one market spot? Yes, that's what I'm saying is they're doing that now, and it sucks. This is why people like me and many of us here, we don't want to see Sony like fall flat on their face. None of us are rooting for that. But I think many of us have agreed that it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to see Sony get a little bit uncomfortable right now, to not be able to just leverage their power, right? That market power. To see like that. And that's why I keep talking about next year and why next year is going to be so insane for Sony, because I keep saying, man, like Sony can leverage their market position and their power right now, but Nintendo's coming for them. Mark my fucking word. I'm telling you guys, there are so many people that don't believe this. I'm telling you, Nintendo is coming for Sony, bro. And they're not even trying. That's the scariest part about Nintendo right now, is Nintendo's not actively targeting Sony. Sony's going to be collateral damage, bro. Like, I'm telling you, Sony's going to be collateral damage based off of all the things Nintendo's about to do in 2024. And Microsoft isn't going to be collateral damage. Microsoft is basically going to take Nintendo's position, where suddenly now Microsoft is doing their own thing. Oh yeah, we don't care about console anymore. We're all about Gamepass. Here are all our games going in the Gamepass. Please subscribe. And that's where Sony's going to be in such a precarious position, where it's like, well, Sony, you say the console is your priority. Well, if the console's your priority, you got to pay attention to the Switch too, because that shit's coming for you, all right? It's going to get you. Well, what if Sony says, well, we're not that worried? Then you must not be prioritizing the console as much. And if you're not prioritizing the console as much, then what are you prioritizing? Cloud? PS Plus? PC? Will Sony decide to drop their games day one in the PlayStation Plus? Is Sony worried that maybe now Microsoft is about to leapfrog PlayStation Plus? Let's not forget what Jim Ryan said. He's no longer in charge, or he's not going to be. But you remember how that quote from Jim leaked out where he said, we're not worried about Game Pass. We have like 45 or 48 million subscribers. They only have like 30 million. Okay, well, let's flash forward a couple years after they have Activision, or a year after they have Activision. Yeah, they just shot up to 50 million. What does Sony do? They say, that's great, good for you. We don't care. Or do they suddenly be like, okay, they're about to leapfrog us. How do we react? I don't know, dude. See, again, this is why a new CEO is about to be in place at Sony. Because Sony is looking for somebody to tell them. I don't know if people know this or not. You're saying I'm making stuff up in my mind. No, I'm not. Listen, I'm telling you, Sony literally needs a CEO, a new CEO, and this new CEO, their job is going to be to tell them what they're going to do, like where we're going. This is the plan. This is the future of PlayStation. The remainder of the PS5 going into the PlayStation 6 and beyond, this is the plan. That's what Sony's looking for right now. And maybe, I don't know, maybe they are devising their own plan. Maybe they already know what they're going to do, but they need to find a CEO that can execute that plan effectively. It could be that. I mean, we talk about the live service stuff. It could very well be that Sony is not at all pivoting away from live service, that they still 100% believe in it, but they just feel like Jim Ryan failed to execute on it properly. Now they need to hire somebody who is going to execute on that. Keep your studios happy, manage the money better, so on and so forth. Really interesting stuff, man. I'm just, in case you can't tell, like, I can't stop talking about the future. And the reason for that is because, dude, we are truly at an inflection point here. I mean, I've talked like this similarly. I've talked in a similar manner in 2022 and 2021. And I remember, and maybe you guys remember too, a lot of those conversations were focused on like, and I think Sony's going to have an even better year next year. And they're going to come out swinging next year. That's not what I want them to do that in 2024, but now the conversation is actually very different. The conversation is, for the first time in a long time, Sony, I'm not saying their back is against the wall, but they are, they are not, they're vulnerable, is what I'm trying to say. They are actually vulnerable for the first time in a long time. And depending on how they choose to maneuver will determine either, like, are you going to make yourself even more vulnerable and susceptible, or are you going to make some power moves that are actually going to keep you strong or make you stronger? That's what's so interesting. This was not part of the conversation last year or the year before that or the year before that. So when I tell you that the future, the next year, the next 6 months, the next 8 months, dude, it's going to be so crazy. I don't think we're prepared, man. I don't think PlayStation fans are prepared that you could get a CEO in there that does say Jim Ryan was wrong. We're going day one with our exclusives on PlayStation Plus, and we're going to lower the budget of these games. Do you guys realize that could does every PlayStation fan realize that could happen in the next 6 months or 7 months or so? I'm not saying it's likely, but it could. And you just be prepared, man. Like, just be prepared for Sony to do anything, because they are at their most unpredictable point. They are right now getting into defensive position because they have to. They got to like sort shit out, tighten the belt, like I said. They got to sort out their finances, so to speak. But they have to decide what the future of PlayStation is long term. Because here's the most important thing I'll say. Because I see somebody say, like, that's not a CEO thing, Sony can't handle that. Here's the thing though. The reason why Sony has to decide what their long-term future is for PlayStation is because they are facing a competitor who has already established what the long-term future is for them. And Sony has yet to respond. That is the single most, I would say, prominent thing missing from Jim Ryan when it comes to Jim Ryan's vision is, even though Jim would talk about successful live service games, he still never really talked about the long-term play. Like, where do you see PlayStation 10 years from now? But then again, he never told us where he saw Microsoft 10 years from now. He avoided those questions entirely. And I'm beginning to think he just didn't know. He didn't have that. He didn't have that kind of vision, And I think what Sony realizes now is they need somebody in there that does have that vision, like, clearly. Like, I'll tell you where you guys are going to be 10 years from now. Because that's what Microsoft has. That's what Phil Spencer. I know people give Phil Spencer a lot of shit, myself included, but I'll tell you, one of the things Phil Spencer did do right is when he walked into that boardroom with Satya Nadella, and Satya said, "You need to tell me why we shouldn't put Xbox on the chopping block. Why should we save Xbox? Why should we keep it around?" Phil had a 10-year plus plan, a long-term plan. He said, listen, this is where we start, but this is where we're going to go. Even if it takes 15 years, this is where we'll be, and it's going to be good. That's what Sony needs right now. Nintendo, I don't think so. Nintendo will be fucking fine. Nintendo can do whatever they want. I hate to say that, but it's true. Nintendo is not even part of the conversation other than they make a console that's now going to compete with the PlayStation to an extent. So, all right, let me read these super chats. Thank you guys for waiting patiently. Mario B, I'm sorry it took me so long, bud. You're saying, do you think it's likely PlayStation will have another showcase this year? Looking back on the last show was painful to watch up until Spider-Man 2. My answer is no. I do not think Sony's going to have another showcase this year. I think that there's just clearly too many moving parts at Sony right now. They seem a little bit too disorganized. I mean, it would be difficult for me to imagine that in the midst of everything that's going on with their restructuring and reorganization, that they also are planning, that they have a showcase ready to go. I think them planning a showcase is part of it. I think that they are aware their showcase this year didn't land the way it was supposed to. I think that they're probably in the early stages of figuring out what their showcase for next year is going to be like and trying to sort that out now. I do think that for them, they're looking at the Game Awards as a great opportunity to get the PlayStation fan base excited for something that will be coming next year. And we talked about the God of War DLC or standalone game. That would be a great start. If they come out and they announce like, here's some awesome looking God of War DLC, or it's even a standalone game and it's coming out 2024, that'll go a long way in alleviating some of the stress that the fan base has in not knowing, what's coming. You're going to see people that are like, oh, more God of War, but it's like, well, okay, it's a start. It's a start at the end of this year going into next year. So, but yeah, Mario B, I would absolutely love for Sony to do another showcase. I just don't think that that's in the cards right now. How crazy would that be though, right? Like we can dream, a man can dream, right? Like imagine like 2 days from now, Sony actually just comes out and is like, join us for a PlayStation showcase. Let me look at the calendar here. Join us on November 9th for PlayStation showcase. Wouldn't that be like crazy? That'd be awesome, but it sounds silly, right? Ice Rezo says, do people realize that Microsoft have multiple game subscription services? WoW and ESO are examples of subscription services that cost $15 per month. You know what, actually? I didn't realize that. That's actually a really, really great thing to highlight there, Ice, when we talk about this broader conversation. I totally forgot that they did acquire a publisher who has... Dude, you're right. They got gaming subscription services in gaming subscription services now. Holy shit. Sony's over there fuming. That's what Sony wants, bro. Dude, if Sony could make a game where they could get away with charging you $15 a month, they would fucking... Oh, man. They'd be in their glory. But my question is, WoW and ESO... And this is a genuine question. I actually really have no idea. Yo, Jay Shako, bro. Jay. You gotta chill, man. My mods would be going crazy these days. You gotta chill with who you're timing out. You timed out Shems, man, and all he said was he has no interest in God of War DLC. You can't time him out for that. So, Jay Shako, please be careful and let people say what they want to say. It's fine. Like, they don't have to... If they say that you're saying you didn't, well, that's really... Wait, hold on. Are you sure? Saying, I did not. Discipline him. You still see the... Dude, what the hell? No way. Jay Shako, I apologize because people are saying they still see the comment. Dude, maybe my shit's glitching out then. Okay, I apologize, Jay Shako. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I said that. Maybe I timed him out accidentally. Dude, MBG has completely lost it, man. He's timing people out and blaming his mods. What's going on? I apologize, Jay Shako. That's it. That is concerning to me, though, because it's making me think that, like, am I going to start seeing shit in my chat now that's not true? You're saying YouTube's still fucking up, maybe? It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. Josh says he never does that unless it's something vulgar. Jake Skew, you're... Oh, sorry, man. I'm about to read your super chat in just a minute. Yeah, either that or Jay Shaco's gaslighting me, one or the other. No, I see it now. I don't know. That was weird. No, anyway. But yeah, the question I was going to ask really quick before I move on to the other super chats is, you know, you mentioned World of Warcraft and Elder Scrolls Online. Are these games still popular and thriving? I would have no idea. Whoa. There you go. Do you guys see that? You're saying WoW is in a weird place? A little bit. Okay. You missed that sound? It's nostalgia. So nostalgic. All right, Jake Skew with a $5 super chat. He says, Poet of the Fall has been working with Remedy since Max Payne 2, and they have another name called Old Gods of Asgard in the games. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, I remember you were talking to me about this band, Poets of the Fall. And I didn't know that's interesting. I remember seeing some posts on Twitter about this band, or in the game they're known as Old Gods of Asgard. That's pretty cool, man. I love that. I don't know if you saw, but apparently Max Payne 1 and 2 remake and also the Control multiplayer game are now in, they're getting ready to enter full production at Remedy, which is exciting. But I appreciate you letting me know that, Jake, and thank you for the super chat. Josh Z in the chat is asking, did anyone else turn off their PS5 beep sound? I didn't, man. I can't do it. It just feels wrong. Just feels wrong. The Astro sub dance, saw that yesterday. Yeah, I tried to add that in there for people who subscribe. You're saying PlayStation sound still on. Yeah, I feel like I have to keep it on, man. It's just, turning that off feels like sacrilege or something, you know? Only a psycho would do that. Like, I could understand why some people do it. Say you turned it down a notch. Yeah, I forgot that they did give you that option as well to actually lower the volume of it, which is nice. Have a $10 super chat here from Michael Lynch. He says, obviously, I am behind in the video. I would not play an Atreus-only game. The combat with him is nowhere near as good as Kratos. He is also nowhere near as cool of a character as his dad. Yeah, I generally feel the same way, but like that's where I don't want to say I would never play a game starring Atreus, because my assumption is that if they're going to give him, like, they're not stupid, right, at Santa Monica Studio. Like, they know it's going to be a kind of hard sell to get people to be okay with, especially if it's a standalone game where it's like no Kratos. That's a hard sell, man. You know, you put God of War in the title, assuming God of War will be in the title. I mean, it will be. That's going to be a hard sell. I think they could do it, but I think one of the best ways they could do it is they would really have to, again, flesh out how Atreus plays. You're saying he's not... I mean, yeah, I don't think he'll ever be able to... we call it Son of God. I don't think Atreus will ever be as cool as Kratos, but they could definitely make him cooler. I think they could. But Michael, I appreciate you letting me know. That's actually something I'll be interested to see if the game. Oh man, actually, God of Soy. Jeez, man. God of Mischief. Yeah, they could call it that. That'd be pretty funny. It'd be true too. If it's true that this is going to get announced at at the Game Awards, I'm gonna, and if that's what it ends up being, if that is in fact what they're going with, I'm gonna be very interested to see how people react to it. Age him up, make him taller and buff with a deeper voice. That could work, yeah. You're saying he's a badass already? I mean, he's badass in his own way, no doubt. Boy of War. The dude says Atreus is whack. Well, there we go. Atreus is whack. Yeah, you know what I can tell, though? A lot of people want Kratos, man. I don't think they'll ever be able to kill Kratos off or replace him. I just don't think they'll be able to. People love the character too much. And there's no need to. There's no need to. I don't think there is. You're saying Old Gods of Asgard is making an album of past songs and new ones from Alan Wake 2? Good stuff, man. Yeah, I might have to look into them. I'll see. I'm sure I'll hear their music in the game. He can't die. He's immortal, bro. Dude, I think Kratos can die, right? MBG tomorrow at BlizzCon, there are rumors that Blizzard's new survival game is getting shown off and that it's Xbox PC exclusive. Jez hinted at this in their podcast. Interesting. I mean, yeah, I guess that'll be a pretty exciting thing for people. He already died twice. You can't sell his death. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, maybe that's a good thing. That's a good thing because it's like, I mean, look at how well God of War Ragnarok sold, you know? That can be, Kratos can be Sony's Mario. Or Zelda. However you want to look at it. MBG, what do you think about Concord? I don't think anything. I think I need to see gameplay. I know Kratos died a couple times. I know. They're aging him though. You know? He's getting older. So can he die of old age? Is that a possibility? I mean, I'm just trying to understand. So I wanted to talk to you guys about this. Again, this is going to be a shorter stream today. If it sells half as much as Ragnarok, that's still a success. Agreed. Death wears Kratos pajamas to bed. Nice. Astrobot is more like Sony's Mario. Yeah, my bad. Kratos would be Link, not Zelda. My bad again. I'm getting it all fucked up. Exley says it's insane how they uglify women in all of Sony's games. There's not one single good-looking woman in any Sony game. Do you guys agree or disagree? There's not one good-looking woman? Not one good-looking woman. I don't know, actually. There has to be. Well, I don't know. Isn't that kind of subjective? Yeah, Black Cat's good-looking. Tifa, yep, come on. Well, technically that's not a Sony game, but I mean, yeah. Chloe Frazier. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Yeah, it's like, that's where I feel like it's a little, I mean, I guess I just feel bad because it's like, I don't know. You see like a character in a game and people are like, man, she fucking ugly. It's like any person who feels like they could have related to how that person looks is probably like, man, I feel like shit now. You know, saying Aloy's pretty cute. Dude, I thought that was the weirdest thing when Horizon Forbidden West was first shown. Like I don't know what was going on. People were like, oh my God, Aloy's ugly. It's like, what? I mean, she looks fine. Like she looks the same as the first game. You know, I was just confused about that. Does it matter? Yeah, I guess that's the real question. Does it matter? Elena, Nathan's wife. Yeah, I don't know, man. They should just start making ugly dudes too, though. You know, they should start making the guys like as ugly as fucking possible. You know, so it's just, what then? Igor says it does matter. Abby. Guys are saying Abby's a hot character. Well, God, man, you just reminded me of a scene in that game that I totally forgot about. What the hell was up with that? Somebody at Sony was like, dude, oh my God. You know what's so crazy about that? Didn't that happen at a time when like Sony was being called out for like censoring other games or some shit? Which is insane to think about. Oh man. Some of these replies, bro. Wait, MBG, you think Sony guys are cute? Honestly, I never really thought about it. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, is Kratos considered attractive? Like, I view it more like Kratos has this kind of extremely manly, like, you know, badass energy that it's like, man, what a cool guy. I wish I could be that cool. I could never be that cool. I could never be that badass. So, yeah, to women, yeah, probably. Women love the beard. Yeah, you're probably right about that. Dude, I agree. See, I agree with this. You're saying Peter is a young lad and MJ looks like his mom. I will say, like, everybody kept saying, oh, MJ looks ugly. She looks ugly. Dude, she doesn't look ugly. She looks old. Like, older. She looks like an older woman. She looked like she aged by, like, 15 plus years in Spider-Man 2. She mostly, like, her facial structure looks mostly the same. Her hair makes her look a lot different, but she looks older. And I agree, like, it was so strange because Peter Parker looked even younger. They did make Peter Parker look too young. Like, he's supposed to look 23. I mean, I guess he could look in a way 23, but you could tell me he was 18 and I'd be like, yeah, he looks like an 18-year-old. He's got that like baby face, you know? But she looks like she does from the comics, that's all. Oh my God. Dude, Exley, you are fucking brutal, bro. Oh my God. Exley, tell us how you really feel, man. MBG, did you see the Spider-Man 2 writer MJ is based on the side-by-side is undeniable? I did see that, and I mean, it is true. There is a likeness there for sure. But, you know, maybe we could come to the conclusion that they wrote themselves in. Maybe they didn't. I'm not going to dogpile it. You know what I mean? Because I just don't care enough. I don't, because it's like, whatever, man. Spitting image, more like it. It was pretty funny when I saw it though, because I was like, damn, that's a tough like I'll put it this way, if they didn't use that developer's likeness, that's just bad luck. You know? And that people would find that image and put them together like that. Chat's going crazy, man. I'm telling you, look, the biggest problem I have with Spider-Man 2 with the faces is they should have never changed Peter Parker's original face. That's like, I mean, sure, we could talk about MJ, but they just should have never played. They should have never played or changed the original Peter Parker face, because it looked good. It looked fine. To me, it was a different take on Peter Parker. Slightly different. Josh with the $5 super chat says, MBG, I'm 31. I look 17. I'm going to stick up for Peter. Okay. Yeah. See, that's why I try not to get involved in these conversations too much, because it's like, dude, everybody looks different, you know? Everybody has a certain way they look. I've been told before, like when my face is shaved, which it hardly ever is, but like when my face is fully shaved, I've been told I look like really young. Like I look, maybe, I don't know, maybe not so much now. I definitely have more wrinkles, but I've been told that before. And, you know, it's like, whoa, I didn't know that, you know, like I get some people like that though. Some people like having that youthful look. But like at the end of the day, I just think people get too worked up over it. I do. I think people get way too worked up, where it's like, you know, it's like in the same way that people get overly worked up when, like, some, you know, I remember like in fighting games, it was like a really popular thing to like sexualize characters and stuff. And it, like, the focus was always on the women, where it's like, and I think, I mean, there was like, I saw some like Mortal Kombat images, was like, okay, maybe take it a little too far. But you know what I always said is like, dude, what about the guys? Do you see how jacked and ripped they're making these guys look? That's making me feel like shit, you know? Because like they all look like fucking bodybuilders. But it's like, you know, you're saying I look older than my age. I don't know, man. If I shaved my face completely, I think you'd be surprised how young I actually look. At least that's what I've been told, man. That's what I've been told. You're saying it still is MBG, and they're definitely sexualizing the guys too, especially the Street Fighter fans. MBG, you always ask, what about the guys? Yeah, just because I just think it's, you know, I'm just trying to keep it fair here. You know, I'm not just trying to look in one direction or the other. We got to look at the whole picture. We got to look at the whole picture. Waved Max says, when you shave your face, you look like a teenager. How old am I? I'm 30 years old. I just turned 30 in September. You assumed I was 40? You're saying I feel old and mature, to be honest? I mean, I take that as a compliment. You remember when I shaved my mustache? We had Fat Bob and Tekken. Oh, that's true. That's true. Look at MBG being inclusive, not woke. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with inclusivity, man. I'm telling you, I'm not getting into this conversation again. I'll just simply say it's two sides of the same coin at the end of the day, man. The day people realize that and they can meet in the middle and realize that's just like, you know what? Inclusivity doesn't have to be anything other than just that. Like, just, you know, just be inclusive. Just let people live. Let them, you know, let people live. And if it's impeding on you, or you feel like it's doing damage to you, like, just try to talk. Try to talk. And that's the thing here is like one of the things that I think is problematic is it's all about like lines of communication, Like I'm certain that so many people out there who fight so frequently, if they just like were able to actually be mature with one another and be willing to talk, to hear one another out, they'd probably realize that, okay, even if you come to a disagreement, maybe at the end of the day, you can just shake hands and agree to disagree and go about your business, And if it really comes down to it, just if there needs to be a separation, then there has to be a separation. You mind yours and I'll mind mine. I just think too many people, that's the problem, man. Everybody wants to push. And I get it. It's human nature. It's part of life. Everybody wants to push, man. Everybody wants to push. And the most difficult thing to do, and it's understandable why it's so difficult, it's because a lot of times it can lead to bad things, is when you feel like you're being pushed, it's hard not to want to push back. Your instinct is you want to fucking push back. You want to push back even harder. And then it's just, it's escalation, man. It's just the way it goes. The real, I'll tell you this. Am I talking about immigration? Dude, honestly, what I'm talking about is applicable to probably almost everything. I'm speaking extremely broadly, purposely. I will say this. My problem, like the type of person that I truly have a problem with is the type of person that when they go to push and they realize that whoever it is they're pushing is not pushing back, continues to push. That is the type of person I have a problem with, because in my opinion, they are objectively in the wrong. Now I'm using, again, very broad terminology here. That stuff pisses me off because it's like, those are the type of people that, in my opinion, cause the most amount of problems for everybody. Because I'll tell you, I think most people don't want to push. Most people don't want to fight. I'm telling you, most fucking people don't want to fight. But the ones that do will not stop, man, until somebody meets them. It's fucking sad. I'm telling you, bringing up that song again, Right Into by Tool. Right Into. You're saying BlackRock has a stake in so many companies and said we have to force behavior change to our ideology. What is BlackRock? Actually, it's the second time you mentioned that. I feel like I've heard of it before, but I never... You're saying, MBG, if somebody does not want to attend a parade in the month of June, they do not have to, but we cannot avoid it in entertainment. Just close your eyes, man. Close your eyes, cover your ears, and hum for a little bit. I'm just kidding. I don't know. BlackRock is an investment firm. They own everything. Them and Vanguard and a few other conglomerates. Very powerful investment firm that owns everything. Interesting. Yeah, again, I feel like I've definitely heard of them before, but Domingo 813 says, how old would you look without the hat? Dude, I'll tell you right now. Okay, so if without my hat, if my head's clean shaven, I still look older to a degree, but not as much because my head's clean shaven. If I let my hair grow in a little bit, I look old as fuck, dude. I look old. Like I do. I look like I'm probably like 45. Prove it one day, maybe one day. I look older, dude. Yeah. I have the hairline of an older man. So, hence the hat usually. Punished old MBG. No, I have a beautiful mullet that is hidden under here. If I were to take my hat off, it would just drop down. Nah, I hear you though, man. I get tired of shit too. I do. I get tired of fucking people always trying to push shit and it's always got to be like, you know, it's either the left or the right or the left. And I'm obviously, in case you guys can tell, like I don't really affiliate myself with anything, but I definitely fall into the category of more conservative. Definitely. But, you know, I just feel like again, it's the whole pushing thing that I don't understand. Like, can't we just like separate shit? You know? Like, can't we just separate, like, okay, we want to live this way, so we're going to live over here, and we're going to live this way over here, and anybody who wants to live this way can go live over here, right? And, like, people who want to live this way can go live over here. I just, like, it's that simple. Like, I feel like it's always been that simple, but for some reason, it's just, I don't know, that's just the way people are, man, where people have their beliefs, they have their truths, so to speak, they have their passions, and they feel like they got to fight for them. And I understand it to a degree, you know, and I can respect it to a certain degree, but I don't know. I mean, I am a believer and everybody should be able to get along. I know, like, yeah, the idea of segregation, I know, but it's just like, dude, look, the way people behave, it's like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, people are, they get fucking crazy over the dumbest shit. I mean, crazy, dude. I was fucking trick-or-treating with my family, and I'm walking down the street, and there's this family. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they were family, but there's this group of people just on a fucking neighborhood street. Like, somebody's losing their fucking mind, like screaming belligerently, acting like, and I'm like sitting here, like, is this person going to pull out a gun now? Over what? Like, we're out here trick or fucking treating. And somebody's literally going crazy. And this old woman that was handing out, you know, candy to my child is like, oh, here you go. You guys should go now. Because it looked like the shit was about to go down. And I'm just like, dude, the thought I had in my head was like, it's probably right down the street from you all the way to the other end of the fucking planet. It's everywhere you go. Everywhere you fucking go. You can't avoid it. Where there's just people losing their shit looking for a fucking fight. She handing out bullets. God bless America. I mean, fuck, man. It was just, you're saying no, it's just the USA? Yeah, maybe you're right about that. I guess I can't speak for other parts of the world, but that was just crazy to me where it's like, dude, I live in a pretty mostly chill town, you know, pretty quiet town. I'm like, I would have never expected to see. And, you know, granted, I didn't know what was going on. Look, I didn't know the circumstances. All I knew is there was just this woman was acting like she was going to fuck people up and I'm like, dude, I don't know why you're acting like this, but it just seems totally unnecessary, man. Weird shit. I see somebody in the chat saying Sony just acquired somebody. EA CEO Andrew Wilson says, I think Microsoft Activision is a great thing. It means one of the world's largest companies is going to continue to invest in our industry and help us grow the industry over time. In other words, somebody please buy us. Please buy us next. You feel like I'm talking about the Silent Hill community? Oh, man, maybe I am. Imagine pulling out a gun over chocolate bar. It sounds insane, man, but it's just like, come on, man. You know, like, that's what grown-ups acting like spoiled children. It's just like, look, I'm not saying you don't have a valid reason to be upset about whatever it is you're being upset about, but it's like, just calm down. Like, just calm down. You know, like, like there are children around you trick-or-treating, for fuck's sake. You're scaring the living shit out of everybody. It's like what is so bad? Like, what is happening? Like, what is happening that you're behaving this way? It frankly pissed me off. You know, it did. I'm not going to lie. I was pissed off because I was like, go away. You know, like, go somewhere and sort your fucking shit. Okay. I'm trying to trick or treat here with my damn family. Maybe I just got a little I got like defense mode there, you know? Like, is the shit about to go down? Do I gotta take some action? So Sony apparently just acquired somebody. You're saying it's traumatizing to the kids. I hope your kid didn't take it too much. No, I don't think so, man. He had a great time. He had a great time. He was on cloud 9, having a blast. I mean, see, I knew it was going to be a good Halloween because he's at that age now, you know, where he wanted to be independent. He wanted to, like, you know, go run up to the steps and knock on the door himself. And I'm like, I'm a little worried. Like, don't trip and fall, man. He's still kind of, you know, little enough to where I was worried about that, but he loved it. He had a hell of a time. Backwards at MBG was about to make an appearance. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's the thing, is like, I'm not at heart, I'm not really a fighter, dude. I'm not. You know, and it's just because I'm not necessarily a pacifist either. It's just I don't like, I don't know why people resort to that as much as they do. It's like, dude, what does that solve? I know that sounds like cliche, but it's true, man. It's like, if I punch this person as hard as I can in the face, like, what is that going to solve? I mean, maybe in some cases, some people do need that. I do think that. Like, I see these videos online sometimes where it's like, you see the way some people are acting. It's like, okay, yeah, some people do need a fucking wake up call, you know, like they do need their fucking bell rung. But I just don't know. I've never felt like that's my place, you know, like, I think that there's somebody else out there that's better suited at that, you know, than taking care of something like that. But, you know, I'm not an advocate for violence is the answer. I don't think it is, but it is, you know, it does remind me, honestly, of, you know, talking about God of War, the beginning of God of War 2018, where it's like, you know, Kratos is just straight up trying to live a peaceful life and be left alone. And it's like, how far is this dickhead going to push him until he's, you know, Kratos is like, I fucking warned you, man. Like, I warned you. Now, granted, this wasn't like this, you know, Kratos is out here thinking he's about to punch just a regular mortal in the face and rock their world. But I guess what I'm trying to say is the way that Baldur behaved in that game, in that moment, in that scene, is like that. A lot of people out there behave that way, and they do deserve a fucking Kratos punch to the face, you know? They do, because they'll get in your face, they'll fucking push you, they'll smack you, they'll hit you, they you know, it's like they say, man, like, some people do ask, they literally ask for it. I mean, I see this shit again. I see these videos where it's like, people are all like, they're like, these videos are like, was this person in the wrong or not? And it's like, all right, look, I do believe, like, it should only ever be in self-defense. But at the same time, like, I see kind of almost like gray area situations where it's like, it's difficult for me to feel like I can condemn this person for knocking that person out, because it's just like, there was this one video I saw of, it was this shop owner. And it was this black man who, I think he was from, I don't know, he seemed like he was, you know, his English wasn't very good, but he was running his shop, and this woman just came in and just started destroying everything in his shop and flipping out on him for seemingly no reason. Like, even no matter what the reason was, like, there was no justification for what she was doing. Like, she was straight up destroying the property, and she was going ballistic. Like, it was one of those situations where it's like, is this woman about to pull out a gun and shoot somebody? And the shop owner, he kept like yelling at her, like, leave my store, leave my store. And I was just waiting. I'm like, dude, at some point this man is going to drop this woman. He's going to, because this woman is getting in his face. He went to go pull out his phone and say, I'm going to call the police. And she just smacked his phone out of his hand, and it fell on the floor and like fucking cracked or some shit. And he just stood. I'll give the guy credit, man. Like, he just stood his ground. Dude, so basically, MBG, the problem is women. No, it just so happens that, you know, it's just the video I remember seeing recently. Because it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter that it's a woman. You know, if it was a man, it's the same. It doesn't matter. Like, it was a person behaving in this way. And I was like, dude, this guy, there's no way he's going to be able to continue to restrain himself, because this woman is like, this person is fucking asking for it. Like, she's destroying his livelihood and smacking him around. And he never did, man. Good on him. Like, he got her on camera, and, you know, she's fucked because of what she did. But I mean, I looked at him like, that must have been fucking the level of discipline required, where it's like, it's easy to, you know, to imagine not engaging with somebody when you're just watching. But when you're in a situation like that, it's like, fuck, man. You know, the adrenaline's going, you're probably, fight or flight's kicking in. But good on him. He, I still felt really bad for the guy, because it's like, dude, his store was fucking wrecked. Like, it was like pissing me off just watching it. This is why we need crossbows. You know, other crazy shit I see online sometimes is, you know, like the fuck around, find out type of videos, where I've seen numerous videos of people going into shops or stores looking to rob them, and they basically, you know, they fuck around and they find out, where it's like the shop owner has a fucking shotgun ready to go, or the shop owner pulls the person over and like stabs them. And you know, like, there's always like this kind of conversation about like, oh, like, did they take it too far and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, dude, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Like, you walk into somebody's place of business with a weapon looking to rob them and potentially end lives. Like, as far as I'm concerned, you forfeit your life in that moment. You know, if you get out of that alive, you're lucky, you know, but I don't feel sorry for people who do that shit. Sorry. Yeah. I'm going off now. I'm just, Sony apparently did acquire somebody. Sony acquired somebody. Eye size? God damn it, Sony. Can't you make any exciting acquisitions anymore? Who the fuck is Eye Size? PlayStation is acquiring Eye Size, a UK company specializing in deep learning for video delivery. The acquisition provides SIE with significant expertise in applying machine learning to video processing, which will benefit a range of our R&D efforts, as well as our video and streaming services. Shinobi602 says, from my perspective, this seems like another move towards improving PlayStation's cloud gaming. I'm just going to be straight up right now. I don't really care about this, because I don't even know. I don't even know what to make of it. You know, what does this even mean? Is this relevant to gaming at all? You're saying MBG very libertarian of you. I personally agree. Yeah, that's the thing, man, is like, I don't feel like I'm naturally a fighter, but I, at the same time, like, I don't know, man. I do believe, unfortunately, that there are a lot of really bad people out there. I think there are a lot of really good people, but I think that there are a lot of really bad people that I would just consider flat out evil, you know, that just will ruin people and people's lives without a second thought. And, you know, I always just have this kind of like, I don't know if it almost feels like kind of primal in a way, where it's like just this kind of primal fear of just, you know, what other people can do to other people without a second thought. You always got to be aware of that. And I'm not, you know, I'm not like living my life in fear necessarily, but it's just, you just got to be aware, man. You got to be aware at all times that people are fucking nuts. Seriously, there's a lot of crazy people out there, and you got to be aware. Yeah, some people just have no boundaries, no limits. Sony just acquired Colgate. Oh shit, PlayStation toothpaste coming in. PlayStation mouthwash. Ghetto God, you're saying, what I don't get is how people have kids and not raise them to be kind. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing, man. A lot of it is systemic in a way where, you know, you can kind of sometimes see in children as they're growing up. Obviously, children are innocent, but they are molded by their caretakers and their parents and the people around them. And sometimes you can just kind of see like children who are troubled. And it is sad how, like, if nothing intervenes over time or nothing changes, they just follow that same trajectory and that same path. And it's just the cycle repeats, you know? Again, I actually feel like this conversation does fall into God of War, believe it or not. I feel like these are some serious, heavy themes that were there in God of War. Generational psychology. Yeah, I mean, speaking for me personally, like, I've had to go through a lot of really difficult moments in my life where I've always felt like the family that I came from and like grew up with, there's always been this kind of really weird divide where like one side of me feels like I belong, like, and I am like them because I grew up around them. You know, it's like you have almost like a nostalgia and an attachment, and it's understandable. It's right. It's like, that's where you grew up. That's what you know. But it's like there's always been this part of me where I always kind of observed a lot of the things that happened in my family, the type of people some of my family members are, and I always just kind of felt like I don't think this is ideal. You know, like I think I want to get away from that. And luckily I have. You know, I slowly over time broke away and created my own family, and it's like, yeah, it's a weird thing, man. It is. I think the world is just getting soft. I mean, it's kind of understandable a little bit, you know, because like so many things for human beings have improved. Like we're not, you know, many societies now, it's not about survival. And so there's this whole layer of human evolution that is seemingly, we're trying to like figure out, what do we do with this now? You know? But I get what you're saying. I think there's a difference between being soft and being, you know, let me put it to you this way. I feel like it's important for every person to understand that you can be many different things. You don't just have to be one thing. Like you can be a soft, kind person when it calls for it, but you can be a, you know, hardened, you know, fucking grizzled, whatever you need to be if the moment calls for it. I think that's a really important thing for people to understand, is that you don't, you know, that's just something that I think more people should try to work on, because it's like every situation is different, you know? Yeah, I love that saying. Strong men create good times, weak men create hard times. Absolutely. I agree with that. I mean, look, I know that, you know, there's all this talk always about like sex, race, again, you know, gender, all this shit. But I just think at the end of the day, like, strong people are strong people, man. Weak people are weak people. And I really do firmly believe that at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. There are good people, there are not so good people. There are strong people, there are weak people. And I think a lot of people throw these things in there in this, and they get shit mixed up, where it's like, well, what if we throw race in there? What if we throw gender in there? You know, and what if we throw, you know, sex in there? It's just like, I just don't know that these are the defining characteristics of a person's, you know, character, really. You know, like I've never judged a person's character based off of their skin color or their race or their religion or their, you know what I mean? Like I've never done that. And I don't know why it's just so difficult seemingly for some people to look beyond that, where it's like, judge a person's character based off of how they conduct themselves. How do they treat you? How do they treat themselves? How do they treat others? I mean, that should not be hard. You know, people talk about all this shit they're worrying about in school, what they're teaching kids in schools. That's what you want to talk about, like protect the kids. To me, that's something that needs to be protected right there. Teach children that it's about how you treat others and how they treat you. Like that is to me the single most important thing you should teach children. And then, you know, of course, there's more to life than that, but that is to me the building block, you know, that it should begin with. And I just think that so many people, and I think it's like as you get older, you kind of start focusing on all the details and all the minute things. And it's just like, I'm not saying they're not important. They are. You know, as you get older, you gain more awareness. And with that awareness, you realize things are more complex than they may seem. You're saying I think too much? Maybe I do. But to bring up Jordan Peterson, I don't actually, I see videos of Jordan Peterson pop up all the time. I've only listened to him a couple of times. You know what I've learned? And like I've listened to, again, all different people, so many different people. You know what I've learned is there are good things that almost all these people are saying. But I also, you know, I tend to find that, you know, there may be other things where it's like, I don't know that I agree with that 100%. Or, you know, maybe I just, that one leaves me thinking a little bit, like pondering a little bit more. But then there are other things I hear, where it's like, oh, I agree totally. And that's, I just think that is, it just speaks to the humanity of like, no one's perfect. No one has all the right answers. All, you know, even a person you look up to the most, they have made mistakes and they probably continue to make mistakes. That is part of the human experience. Like, you know, it's like I bought Arnold Schwarzenegger's new book, right? I mean, I've been reading it. I think it's called like Be Useful or something. And it's like one of the things he does in the beginning of his book is he acknowledges that he's made some pretty serious mistakes in his life. But he also acknowledges that he's done a lot of really good things too. And the way he's going, you know, he's like 75 years old now. And one of the biggest mistakes that Arnold made, and I know, right? And he talks about this in his book, is he kind of ruined his family in a way with, with infidelity. And he had he had a child that, you know, when he cheated on his wife, and, you know, he tried to hide it and everything. And it's like, it was a huge mistake, clearly, where it's like, you know, it's one of those moments where it's like, damn, you know, a hero has fallen here. But you realize that like, that cannot be the only thing that defines this person, because anybody who knows Arnold or is following knows he's done a lot in his life, and he's done a lot of good, you know? And I've always, that's where I feel like people are very quick to just say like, oh no, this person's good or that person's bad. And again, in extreme cases, I think that is applicable, but most people, it's like, there is good and there is bad, you know? But I'm reading his book, and it's pretty good so far. You know, I've always felt inspired by Arnold, and I just think it's a very cool thing that, man, like he's at that age where it's like, dude, you're 75. You know, like obviously he's way past his prime. He could just retire, sit back, and, you know, live his days out. But he's like, no, I think I'll write a book trying to inspire people and give people advice. I'm like, yeah, I respect that. I do. Anyway, what were we talking about? You're saying you love Arnold. Conan was a seminal film for you as a kid, but you hated that he became a Republican. He was always a centrist with a great social conscience, and it came out after politics. I think it's complicated, man. You know, that's what I think. I think one of the things that is so complex about the political system is that you can have a lot of people meeting in the middle that make a lot of sense, but they'll never get the most attention. You know, that's maybe just indicative of all things, right? Bill Burr is pretty funny. So I mean, some like Bill Burr is a person where some of the stuff I listen to, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess. I mean, you know, but a lot of the stuff I hear from him, it's like, yeah, okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Good shit, funny shit. Extreme views get the most attention. They do. I mean, it's like we went from Donald Trump being president. Now we have Joe Biden, and I'm just like no offense to anybody in the chat that is pro-Trump or pro-Biden, but it's like, like you're telling me there isn't somebody out of all the human beings on the planet, there's not somebody more competent than both of these men. Like, not one person, not one fucking person. That's what blows my mind, where it's like, this is crazy to me. Like, this is lunacy. Hey, Joe Biden is my cousin. Dude, look, man, I don't know what's more terrifying, like how divisive Trump is, or how Biden can't even speak correctly, man. Like that's insane. Like it's insane to me that, dude, people hate Trump so much that we got a fucking president that like can't. He's like, he literally has mental deterioration, man, from old age. Like, what? That's crazy. Listen, that's genuinely scary to me. That's actually genuinely scary to me, where it's like, putting the politics aside, I just don't think that is the ideal thing to do here, man. To have an old man who has cognitive impairments here, clearly due to old age. It's not even his fault, you know? Jeez. And during such a volatile time as well. I'm terrified, man. I'm absolutely terrified. Breaking: PlayStation has acquired Ember Labs. No way. Pretty sure that's false. That'd be great, though. They should. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about Ember Lab, man. I'm surprised they haven't acquired them, though. I feel like that would have been a great fit. Maybe the studio just doesn't want to be acquired. Ex Cathedra with a $5 chat says, a major problem is that parents are trying too hard to be their kids' friends instead of their mother/father. It's essentially children having children. That 100%. Absolutely. Fucking absolutely. You nailed it on the head, man. That to me is one of the biggest problems. Is you're right. Like, too many parents are focused on being their children's friend and not a parent. There is a distinct difference. When a child becomes an adult, which they will eventually, as long as you keep them safe and healthy, they become an adult, then they can become your friend. Then you can be friends. But as you are raising that child, you are their parent. You know, I'm not saying that means you can't, you know, be friendly with your child. Of course you should be friendly with your child, but there is a separation there. And I think what this speaks to, Ex Cathedra, is being a parent is not easy. It really isn't. Like, especially being a good parent is a hard thing to do. And you know why? Because you have to sometimes you got to wear the black hat. You know, you got to wear the black hat, and you have to do things that maybe make decisions that aren't necessarily comfortable. You have to maybe be the person that instills that, you know, your child might at times feel like, you know, upset with you or negative feelings towards you, but you have to be wise enough to understand that those feelings will pass, and they're going to grow, they're going to learn, and they're going to realize, wow, you know, Mom was right. Dad was right. They just cared about me. And they'll thank you. They will thank you for that in the future. But you also have to be careful. Yeah, I'm always wearing the black hat, right? Literally. You have to be careful, I think, because I think some parents, they take it too. It's like all things in life. It requires balance, man. You know, it requires balance. Exactly. Broccoli Rob. It's a balancing act. You can't go too much in either direction because you don't want to alienate your child either. You don't want them to actually. I witnessed that. Without going into too much detail, but I've witnessed that multiple times within my own family growing up, where, not just in my own family, but other like friends' families too, where their parents, they're so strict. It's like the toughest thing is you have to be willing as a parent to let your child learn some things on their own. To gain some experiences on their own. That is a very important thing. You cannot put them in a bubble, and be so strict that the only thing they're going to want to do is get away from you. You can't do that either. But at the same time, you can't, like you said, you can't just act like you're their friend where it's like, hey, let's fucking party and let's live it up. And it's like, yeah, let's do it. It's like they're not going to have any respect for you, and they're never going to listen to you, and they're not going to learn from you. MBG out here giving sermons lately. Well, I apologize. Well, I don't know if I apologize, but I know that's not. I really should do a separate like stream that's not gaming focused, because I do go into these directions sometimes. But I enjoy it. I think it's fun it's good, I think, to talk about these different things. In a way, it's all interconnected, man. Life by MBG. Father BG of to Tokism. PB12 coming in with this self-awareness. The problem in the world is there are too many opinions. And I know this is also an opinion, and that's the problem. Well, that's good though. I mean, if a person can take a step back and say, maybe I'm part of the problem, if more people did that, oh my God, the solutions we would find. The solutions people would find, it would be miraculous. It would be miraculous. You're saying these topics are sometimes more entertaining than the gaming ones. Yeah, I think that's the thing, is like, we just kind of naturally, once we're done talking about the gaming stuff of the day for some time, we just naturally segue into these conversations. And that's true too. You're saying I'm getting older, my focus is changing. It is, yeah. A lot of self-reflecting. I mean, I turned 30 recently, and it's such an interesting thing because, they like legally, at least in the US, you're an adult at 18 years old. I'll tell you right now, like, I look back at my 18-year-old self and I was like, that was not a man. I mean, yeah, that's a boy. That's a boy. And it's funny because, like, even now that have more time under my belt and I can look back even more, I look back at when I was 23, 24, 25. And honestly, it wasn't until around 28 years old, believe it or not, 28 years old is when something just changed. I felt like it was almost like I woke up one day and I just saw a whole layer of existence that I was completely like, it's like Bloodborne. I gained more insight, and I could see things that weren't there previously. And it was really weird because I felt like it hit me like a ton of bricks, and it took, like, frankly, like 2 years. Yeah, madman's knowledge. It took like 2 years for me to like fully process this. And honestly, it's like now, hitting 30, it's like something just changed. And it's very strange because I look back and it feels genuinely like it wasn't until recently that I feel like maybe like 28, 29 years old that I like finally like became a man. You know what I mean? Like I've just transitioned out of something. Not to say that I was like, I'm like literally behaving like a well, maybe in some cases behaving like a child at age 25, but I think most of you understand what I'm saying. It's hard to explain, but MBG at that age, you see life ahead. Now you have experience. All time passing for 30 years. Life's not all that long. Yeah, that's what's weird. I've also noticed that as you get older, dude, time seems to move quicker. And that is a very fascinating phenomenon. Like that is that's fucking weird. I don't know. It's weird, but it feels like it's a good thing, because you know how they say like time passes quickly when you're enjoying yourself or when things are good, and I feel like maybe that's a sign that, you know, maybe my life is good. You know, like my life is good. But it does feel like it goes quicker as you get older. And I think maybe that's just because it's like you're more adapted to everything. You know, everything feels, I don't know. I don't want to say less exciting, but it's just, there aren't really that. I mean, there's still surprises, of course, that lie ahead, but you've experienced many of the big ones, right? You're saying some scientists explained it, but it was so complex, I've forgotten what they said. Well, at least you know that science explained it, right? Microsoft has made another acquisition. Oh, God, who now? Who now? Ice Rezo says, MBG, everyone wants a PlayStation roadmap. Do people realize that Sony Studios only released one game for console generation except Insomniac? That's a good call out, Ice. Going back to gaming here, that's actually a really good call out, because I guess it just kind of speaks to the nature of consumerism in entertainment in 2023. It seems like there is just a general expectation of, we expect more content. And even I'm guilty of that, you know, to an extent. But you are correct in that traditionally, we've really only gotten like one major, maybe if we're lucky, two major games throughout an entire console's life cycle from most major studios. But in some cases, like you said, like one. And maybe it does reveal that, like, you know, maybe we should have just a little bit more patience and understanding. That's a good call out, Ice. Not something I was really thinking about. Actually says there's a simple reason for that. When you're younger, like 10, a year is 1/10 of your life. When you're 35, it's only 1/35, much smaller. Oh, man. Saying there's a flagship IP being worked on at Jetpack Interactive. Can you guess what it might be? Ooh, I don't know. I couldn't even begin to guess, because there's so many options. What Jetpack Interactive, what have they worked on in the past? What is their pedigree? That would maybe help me out. PlayStation might lose the MLB license to EA. I doubt that. I don't know if that's like a rumor, but I doubt that, because, dude, Sony, as far as I'm aware, they do a really good job with MLB. I see Paul Tassi saying he thinks there will be some sort of statement today from Bungie. Huh. Wonder what they'll say. Yeah, life is strange, man. Life can feel so simple sometimes, but it can also feel so strange and ridiculously complex. Have you seen that Sega is apparently working on a massive game that is going to cost over $800 million? What? No, that sounds unbelievable, honestly. $800 million. What? I feel like I don't believe that. The Nelson and Murdoch sign has been re-added to Spider-Man 2 amongst rumors that the DLC will revolve around Daredevil. Oh, shit. I just read that. some Daredevil DLC for Spider-Man 2? That'd be pretty sick. A lot of people have been asking for something Daredevil related. What do you guys think? Yeah, that doesn't sound believable to me. You're saying Sega's only worth $2 billion. They're going to take $800 million of that, invested into one game. A Daredevil standalone game. This could be maybe, I don't know, the beginning of something. You're saying check Bungie? Did they just announce their statement? Let me see. I actually don't think I follow Bungie. Oh, here we go. It says, is this official? Destiny 2 team? I think this is official. They say the TWID. I don't know what that stands for. Is that like a weekly update? I guess that Bungie normally does. They say the TWID will return next week with new updates from the Crucible Strike team. Today we have an update to the community from the Destiny 2 development team. Okay, here we go. Our path forward. Hold on one sec, guys. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. I don't think I've ever sneezed on stream before. Hold on. All right, I think we're good. That was a close one. All right, let me read. So this is from Bungie, Our Path Forward. This was written by the Destiny 2 development team. That's what it says. This has been one of the most difficult weeks in our studio's history as we parted ways with people we respect and admire. We've spent this week supporting one another, including those who are at the studio, as well as friends and colleagues who no longer are. We want to acknowledge the feedback and concerns you have about Lightfall and recent seasons, as well as your responses to the reveal of the final shape. We know we have lost a lot of your trust. Destiny needs to surprise and delight. We haven't done this enough, and that's going to change. To us, the path forward is clear. We need to make the final shape an unforgettable Destiny experience. We want to build something that will be regarded alongside the best games we've ever made, a fitting culmination that honors the journey we've been on together for the past 10 years. Forsaken, the Witch Queen, and the Taken King, these are the standard bearers we aim to live up to. We are intensely focused on exceeding the expectations for the final shape. Destiny 2 has more than 650 dedicated teammates pouring all their energy and expertise into delivering this epic moment and its subsequent episodes. In the weeks ahead, you'll be hearing more from us about what's next on the short-term horizon, beginning with our next season in late November. Afterwards, we'll begin to unpack our team's bigger, bolder, and brighter vision for the final shape, as well as the bridge we plan to build to take us all out of this darkness and into the light. Okay. Well, there you go. I mean, I don't know. Do I have any Destiny players in the chat? I feel like this post was speaking directly to Destiny players, and I don't really know what to say, because it's like, well, okay, I guess we'll see. You know, could it be that Bungie is learning that a quantity over quality first mentality is not working? I mean, if we read the statement, right, they're basically saying we need more time. We need to treat this with care and respect. I'm telling you, man, the day I watched live on stream Destiny or Bungie's philosophy, I was like, that's like one of the worst philosophies I've ever heard surrounding game development. I mean, somehow maybe it works for them, but that sounds like they're getting lucky. And I think this is, I think they're hitting a wall, man. I do. I think they're hitting a wall and realizing that because think about what the fans are. It seems like to me what the fans are asking for is we want a really high quality expansion. And it seems like the reason why Bungie has faltered with their expansions is because there's not enough breathing room in between the releases. They're more focused on hitting deadlines rather than satisfying the player base. And I understand that. I understand the psychology behind that. Where it's like, you don't, if you delay it, you're going to have an even bigger drop in players. But it's like, yeah, but it just reminds me of if you build it, they will come. I don't know, man. Let me read some of the replies here on Twitter. Surprised there was someone around to even tweet this. LOL. Destiny Bulletin says words. Somebody posted this Breaking Bad.
We had a good thing, you stupid son of a bitch. It was perfect. But no, you just had to blow it up. You and your pride and your ego. You just had to be the man. If you'd done your job, known your place, we'd all be fine right now.
Damn. That Breaking Bad clip, though, hit the spot, man. It hit the nail on the head. We've parted ways with people we respect and admire, but apparently not enough to give them a chance to find alternative work. Just dropped them on the curb and said goodbye. Sorry we messed up. Final shape will be great, though. Don't forget the pre-order. Shrouded Gaming says, thanks, stay strong. This comment has over 760 upvotes saying this was short enough to be a tweet. Why even make the article? What did this do? It's the same message they always give us when they fuck up. We'll surprise you. You'll see. And then Lightfall happens. Wait, what is this? What is this?
How could you? 11 years! And you betray me like this!
Because I can.
Why? I've done so much for you!
You allow yourself to be walked all over, and you just keep letting it happen.
Not anymore!
All right, for the music, I think, dude, what are these fucking video clips that people are posting, bro? This is amazing. Not anymore. This was soulless and tone deaf. How utterly disappointing. Be better, Bungie. You've been better. Goddamn, be better. Lost our trust is an understatement. Man, dude, people are very upset. Firmly grasp this L. Can't wait to see what possibly could be said about this week. It's a shit show over here, man. I don't know. I don't know what Bungie's going to do, man. SIE has acquired iSize. I know. I mentioned that, but I just don't. iSize is like a UK-based company for like video processing and stuff. So I don't really know what that means exactly. Karma's a bitch when they said Naughty Dog Factions was failing. Now they're failing. MBG, you never trusted Bungie. I really never did. Like, even if we were to go back to when they first got acquired, I was obviously trying to, be optimistic about it, but I was clear that, like, I never really cared about Bungie, and I'm just not, like, even back then I was like, man, this is a surprising acquisition, but from Sony, like, not what I expected. You just saw that clip. Why does that guy sound like Batman? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, guys, there's one other topic I have for you before we end the stream. I did want to keep the stream shorter, because I went 4.5 hours yesterday, and go get a free Domino's pizza. So there's one other topic, and this one's actually pretty interesting. So it's about Lies of P, and the developer NeoWiz, which is a Korean-based studio, says the Souls-like game Lies of P turned out to be a big success for NeoWiz, selling over 1 million units in less than a month, despite also being available on Gamepass and earning a positive reception from fans and critics alike. They say it's no surprise then that the developers are planning to support the game as much as possible. In today's director letter, Ji-won Choi, I think is how you say his name, revealed some of the balance changes that will be introduced with the next game update later this month. I'm actually curious to read what these are, because I'm going to be playing this game. Firstly, certain blades and handles will be buffed. Okay. NeoWiz also plans to ease the difficulty of Lies of P in the game's early stages by making the rising dodge move available as a default skill. Interesting. Yeah, I did hear this game is brutally difficult, like to a point where some people were actually complaining about it. It says the director letter also looked to the future, confirming what we had gleaned from a job listing. A Lies of P DLC is indeed on the way, and Ji-won Choi showed a couple of concept arts of a crashed ship and underwater base as teases. Even more interestingly, the director briefly confirmed that a sequel will be made, even though it's likely that it will be years before it can be released. So that's kind of really what I wanted to touch on here for a moment, is Lies of P2, or a sequel to this game that is very successful, is going to be made. Sony, golden opportunity. Okay? Golden opportunity. You know, you can't buy From Software right now. I don't think you'll ever be able to at this point. Maybe you can still get, maybe you can still get an exclusive game out of From Software and marketing rights, but this is a good opportunity. This is clearly a rising Korean studio where, people are really enjoying this game, Lies of P, and I don't know, man. I'm not saying they should acquire the studio. I'm just saying maybe they should reach out to them, and maybe this would be a great way to. Sure, it's not Bloodborne 2, but it's literally the closest thing we're gonna get to it, and this is a talented studio. Make a deal with them, Yeah, maybe Microsoft is considering it as well. I mean, they struck a deal with them with Game Pass. So I really think Sony should look into this. There was a report earlier this year that Sony was actually looking to partner with more Korean studios and look into them. And I'm like, it's right there. It's right there, Dude, you know what? I'm even crazier. Maybe, no, I'm not saying this should happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's just Sony could maybe buy these guys or hire them and give them the Bloodborne IP. I mean, people have said that, dude, this is like the closest thing to Bloodborne 2 that we've seen so far. But then again, that might be a bad idea, because I think people would be like, yo, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. I think that's what the general reaction would be, but TGX says no. Insert Kratos, no. No, but really, they don't need the Bloodborne IP. The Lies of P IP, God, so many P's, is clearly successful. So Sony should look into this, man. They should. I think this would be a perfect fit for them. Maybe even possibly a studio they could acquire down the line. There we go. Michael just subscribed. Thank you for that, man. But guys, we're at like the 3 hour and 15-minute mark, and I think this is where I'm going to end today's stream. We covered pretty much everything. We talked gaming, we talked life, we talked more gaming, and yeah. And Domingo813 says, have them develop Knack 3? Obviously, that's why you would acquire NeoWiz. Hey, you guys just made Lies of P. Great game. You want to work with us on NAC 3? Imagine like NAC 3. It's basically just going to be Lies of P2, but instead it's the main character's NAC. Now that sounds like a great game. But I appreciate it, Domingo. And yeah, before I end the stream, I, as always, just want to extend a big thank you to you guys. I did put a video out earlier. I don't know that anybody who watched the stream is going to need to watch that video. I just covered the God of War DLC rumor and when it's supposed to be announced. That's something I'm going to try to do, is start making more videos. I know people have been asking me about that. Like I said, things have just been a little bit all over the place on the channel. So just bear with me and just try to enjoy the content when you can, how you can. And yeah, things will be kind of sorting out. And as I said, I've been naming these streams Press X Podcast, but I'll be honest with you, I'm thinking about just, you know, I'm thinking about retiring Press X Podcast already. So I don't know. I just feel like I stream too much to justify calling it a podcast. You know, I think when people hear the term podcast, there's a certain expectation associated with it. And I'm just like, I don't know, my format is so all over the place. And so my format is basically just what streamers do, you know? I'm solo. So I don't know. I have to think about it. I'm just saying, just don't be surprised if the name changes again or if it just goes away. I'm just giving you a heads up, so because I'm sure people will ask. But Press Xbox Podcast, yeah, you know it. MBG's steady stream. You missed when MBG streamed Sifu. I did stream that one time. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, I don't know, man. I struggle with game streams because I just like to enjoy games on my own. I think that, like, truthfully, I think the next game I'll probably stream is Helldivers 2, just because it's a multiplayer game and, you know, a little more casual. Don't have to worry about story or anything like that. Anyway, guys, I want to, again, give you guys a big thank you. We have 17 members today that were, I think it says 18, but I don't know why it says 18. There's actually 17. So we got 17 members. Big shout out to you guys for continuing to show your support in that area. And I also want to give a big thank you to everybody who donated a super chat. As I always say, you guys are the sponsors of the channel. If it wasn't for you being generous and showing that direct support, you know, I wouldn't be able to continue doing this the way I do. And I'm very, very, very grateful for that. And yeah, thank you so much, guys. So big shout out to Devil Shooter as well. He does the timestamps. If you see him in the comments, give him a big thank you. Show him some love. I know he appreciates it. And yeah, that's going to do it for this stream, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm not going to say what to expect next because I'm not exactly sure yet. But just keep your eyes peeled, you know. Keep your eyes peeled on the channel and we'll see. What I can tell you is we will be doing a stream on Sunday, certainly. So if you like the streams, come by on Sunday. But yeah. All right, guys, that does it. Until the next time, take care, everyone.